I can unmute, and then Gemma can talk, and maybe people can hear her, but if not,
Hear me? Can you hear me?
now I can hear you.
Yes. Can they hear me though?
I think they can hear you now too. I hope so. It's just I'm now using just desktop audio because apparently the audio from the NDI stream just does not work. It does not care. It's the worst, but it's fine. You're here, and I can monitor you and hear you as well. Hello, everybody. It's time for me to do my
Hello.
regular stream advertising pasting. Um.
Uh, and I've got to find something to talk about whilst you're doing that.
Oh yeah, what's exciting in the world of the UK? There was a Harry and Meghan documentary.
Oh yeah, God, it was so boring. I watched all 6 episodes now. Jeez, there's nothing more boring than that. I mean, they hyped it up so much, like the the trailers. Like it really, they really made it look like Meghan and Harry are going to drop some truth bombs.
Hmm.
But they really, really did not. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm gonna boil it down to daughter-in-law does not get on with her in-laws. I mean, it's not the world's greatest story ever told, and some of it's just unbelievable. Like she's like, I didn't realize that the monarchy would have like this hierarchy, and I'm like, what?
Um.
Jesus, like, dude, that's all it is. And then, like, I don't believe she didn't Google Harry. I don't believe she didn't Google the royal family. And she's there going, like, oh, wow, they really curtsy to. And maybe this is part of the problem. The whole thing was clearly aimed at Americans.
Hmm.
And so every time she was like, oh, and you won't believe what they do, but they're really formal. And I'm like, geez, lady, are you expecting me to be really amazed and surprised by your experience? Because I ain't, like,
No, you are
like,
definitely are not the
that's
target
what it is.
audience for being like
No,
engaged by this.
and maybe I don't know. Maybe it hasn't like I'm it's been such a constant media storm. Every time they even
Hmm.
coughed, like front page every newspaper. Meghan did this, Harry did that, blah blah blah. And so it's just been constant. So everything in that documentary really was just more of what we've had to hear for
I
like
mean,
constantly over the last 3 years now.
like
And maybe America doesn't have it as much.
as an American, I would say I could easily see someone hearing all these things about the royal family and thinking to themselves, because I would think to myself, like, they don't like really do that, right? Like, surely everyone behind the scenes laughs about it and like this is some dumb bullshit, right? And like, but like, and then you get there and you're like, no, it's real fucking serious for them. Like, they really fucking do this shit and give a shit about it. And like, whoa. So like, I could see her walking in being American about it and just being like, yeah, like, it's a thing, but like it can't like be a thing, right? Like, come on, surely we all know this is entirely silly. And the queen's just like scowling at her, like, no.
I mean, I can kind of appreciate that, but also I'm pretty sure you could Google it and find out what you were walking
That's
into.
true.
And she's like, "Oh, I didn't Google Harry, I just checked on his Instagram feed." I'm like, "Bollocks, did you? You
Yeah.
didn't, you didn't know about the son of Princess Diana? Bollocks!"
Yeah,
Like,
like
of course you knew who this
surely
guy
you
was.
knew. Also, like, you're a friggin' celebrity. Like, you've got handlers and shit. Like, surely anyone in your sphere had some idea who this dude was. Like, come
Yeah.
on. Come on. You're not walking into this
I mean,
shit
to be fair,
blind.
and that's the thing, they never pulled any of her friends I noticed who advised her to not marry Harry. Um,
Mm.
because there were numbers of people saying you should not do this. This is not going to turn out well for you. This is a bad idea, and none of that got into the documentary. But the problem, I guess, was this is not fair on Meghan entirely, but
I'm looking
unfortunately,
for it
some
too,
of
by the way.
Prince Harry's grievances are real and legitimate. Some of the stuff he said about his mother, like he didn't really remember her. He was very young. Like I mean, because William was a bit older, right, when she got killed.
Mm.
Um, so, like I can't imagine what sort of trauma that places upon you. And then to have to play that out in front of crowds of people. These are legitimate grievances, and to have to play towards the camera from a very, very young age. And unfortunately,
Yeah.
so everything he said, I was like, I don't really like you as an individual. I mean, let's not forget as well, and he never really came to terms with the only thing he sort of apologized for was dressing up as a Nazi at a party. He
To be
didn't
fair, that is a
apologize.
great thing to apologize for. That is a
Yeah,
great thing to apologize
and
for
of
if you're
course,
going to
it was only
apologize.
after he like got to meet like I don't know if there's a head rabbi of London, but whoever the top rabbi is in London, the top rabbi came to speak to him and was like, "You probably shouldn't dress as a Nazi,
Yeah,
Harry."
like,
And I'm like, Dude, you had to
Fucking
have a rabbi come and tell you that? You should
slam
know
dunk
that.
rabbinical meeting that is. The rabbi's like, well, what incredibly difficult aspect of religious law do you want me to come and rule on? They're like, well, we just need you to tell this guy that dressing as a Nazi is bad. And he's like, all right, there's a lot of friggin'
And
juniors that could have handled this one, but
but let's not forget as well, like they always pick up on that one, and I'm like, but there he's on record for saying, and I'm not going to repeat on stream because this is possibly more insulting than dressing as a Nazi. I know that that's difficult to imagine, but he said some horrifying things
ooh no.
about his teammates in the army, in fact, who were
Ooh no. That's real
yeah.
bad.
Yeah, like, and I'm like, dressing as a Nazi is that sort of thing you can imagine. Like, he was I don't know if he was an old teenager or a young man. It's the sort of thing you're like, oh God, young people, like just tell them not to do it, explain to them they're an idiot, and they'll probably correct themselves. But the sort of language he was using about his colleagues, to me, that
Mm.
suggests a deeper problem. But anyway, he never really tackled that. Anyway, so Harry's interesting, Harry is interesting. It must be very difficult to be a second to your brother who's going to literally inherit an entire country and
Yeah.
Commonwealth.
Yeah.
And Megan's just there going like, oh well, I used to run this blog and I was a semi-famous actress, and then I married a prince, and oh my god, it's just been so challenging. And you're like, geez, lady, Oprah, it's not been that bad.
Be bigger. Making us bigger in this scene. We got more room. All right, let's go. Let's go look at a game. Let's go look at a
Yeah,
mahjong game.
sorry,
No,
I
it's
was
fine. No, no. We had our intro chatter, but I don't want to get too sucked off into talking about the royalty, and stay a little mahjong centric today. Maybe we could have one of them on as a guest who can
yeah,
tell us about their
I'm sure
feelings.
they've got time. I'm sure they've got plenty of time off
They
their
have
Netflix
their own
documentary.
Sussex Tempai. They can brand it.
Oh God! And I love it. One final thing. I love the way everyone is like, "Oh, we should strip them of their titles." I'm like, you can't do that. You can't do that. If you do that, then where do we stop? We could strip all of them of their titles.
Isn't that
It's
what you want?
well, yeah, that's what I want. But that's why we can't strip Prince Andrew of being a prince, because if we say that he's no longer a prince, it puts the whole system into question. Because they've been chosen by God, and if they've been chosen by God,
Oh,
how can a man then decide,
the
well, you're not a prince
rules. The
anymore?
rules are ancestral, not merit based, right? Like you become a
Yeah,
prince when
yeah.
you're the son of a king and the appropriate type of consort. Like
Hmm.
that's it. That's what makes you a prince. Like that's it. There's no other thing you've done to like. You don't get
Yeah.
fired. Like that's it. Now, you might be the
Yeah,
hated
but then,
prince.
and of course, if we strip people of their titles, then it'd be a dangerous precedent which would poke a hole in the entire kind of
IFPI Hacker Cousin
narrative. Anyway, so Sussex they are. Let's play Sussex
Six Han
Mahjong.
Prince Harry.
Oh,
All
poor
right.
princess.
But yeah, yeah, you can't. Anyway, so this is I've picked out for
Have
today.
you have you have you opened the wall on purpose?
Oh, I did. I set to open the wall. I'm sorry. I'll take away the wall
And
signal.
are we? It's sitting in your seat, so I know who
No, it's not
to.
me. This is a non-me game.
Oh,
I
non your
haven't
game.
played a
It could
game
be
in
anyone.
Armal game.
Okay.
This is a higher ranked game within Armal. The player
Hmm.
names are going to remain secret, and again, it's not really about personal comments on them. But there's a high rank game that was actually a very close game. And I think something we can talk about in this game a little bit, hopefully, as we watch it, is as kind of a derivative of push pull is like, where are you and what do you need to do? Is maybe a concept we can explore a little bit. And one of the things I'd love to ask Gemma about, because I've heard a divergence of opinions on this, is the situation right now, right?
There's only one answer. There's only one answer.
Well, hold on. I'm not even looking at the hand. I'm just thinking like
Oh, okay.
it's East 1 of a game. I've just started. I've just sat down. Now, some people are going
Yeah.
to say you need to swing for the fences because if you can knock it out of the park in East 1, you're going to be set for the rest of the game. And some people will say you need to and I sometimes feel you need to be really cautious because in a lot of these games, oftentimes I'm sitting down with three people that I haven't really played with before, and I don't know what they're going to do or how they're going to play. And so to some degree, I'm actually thinking very defensively. I want to back off. Now in this situation, also I'm the dealer, or the seat I'm following
Yeah.
is the dealer. So what do you think? What do we see?
So,
Here?
sorry, you're gonna miss us.
Oh, sorry, you're gonna miss and go to
We'll
sleep,
have
but
to.
yeah, please do
Yeah.
watch the VOD, and we are gonna keep doing it. So
Yes.
you can keep watching our VODs at least, and we'll hope to get more content your way.
So I would never I would never recommend swinging for the fences in the very first hand. Like if you have a good deal, then of course swing for the fences. But especially in the kind of Western style of play, just remember everyone else will be swinging for the fences, and you
Mm,
just don't. You're just going to get hit. There's no point in getting involved most of the time. However, I think that calculation changes if you're a dealer because you only have two dealerships.
mm.
So you can push your kind of when you look at it, you can push. If you look at your draws and you can look at them a bit more favorably, right? You can really try to sort of squeeze something out of it more than maybe if you weren't East.
Well, being a good Twitch citizen, thank you for following, Captain Biak.
Thank
I think it's
you.
Captain Biak, Captain Black. Oh, it's Captain Black with a 1 is the L. Captain Black. Thank you for following us.
Anyway, there is only one answer here. Every other answer is wrong. I am not kidding. I am very strong feeling about this tile discard. There's only one correct answer.
Oh, for the first discard for the dealer here?
Yes, yes.
There's
There's
only
only
one
correct.
answer.
There is only one correct answer. I'm sorry.
Oh, all right. So let me think about this. Let's actually talk a little bit about what we see in each of these hands right now. Again, this is because I feel like a lot of games. This is the front-loaded part of the game. You sit down. It's the start of the hand. It's the start of your hand. You're going to look at your tiles. You're going to look at the scores. You're going to say, what am I doing? What is my magical idea of what should be happening here? So for here, as the dealer, I'll tell you what I see, and you can tell me whether I'm seeing it correctly because there's obviously only one answer here. So I see that the Dora is the 8-man. I see that I have 1, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 9. Now I have a Dora, which means I want to keep a Dora. I'm, I'm going to try to avoid seeing the other players. So
I actually haven't glanced at them yet. So I as soon as I saw this, I was like,
if you
there's
can
only
get
one
the other
tile.
players to show you their hands at the beginning, do it. Because it'll provide you with a distinct competitive advantage. But seeing that I have 1, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 9. I'm never getting rid of that 8. That 8 is in my hand forever. It's never going anywhere.
Yeah,
I need it.
exactly.
Peasinator is on point here. I'm thinking Itsu. I'm thinking, 1, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9. I need a 2, a 6, and a 7. I'm 3 tiles from having that Itsu done. I'm in a position where I actually can call the Itsu. I have all the blocks I need to conceivably call the Itsu if for some reason I really want to push it. And I don't have anything incredibly amazing.
Chirao. Yes.
3, 4, 5
Yes.
Sanshoku. Well, I was going to say the rest of my
exactly
hand, I have the 3, 4 set, and I have the 4 so. These 8s are looking pretty unnecessary. The 8s are looking pretty awkward and out of the way, and then I have this Hatsun Chun just hanging out. Now, as for what the first discard should be, and this is where Gemma's going to pounce on me for probably being wrong. I feel like it might be the 8-pin. Because I see I have my 3, 4 and pin, and I don't think I'm going anywhere. I might be holding on to this Hatsun Chun because, like the Hatsun Chun are candidates because they're solo dragons, and I kind of don't care. Maybe because I have a Dora and because I have a maybe called hand, I want to keep that dream alive a little more because if I end up with like called Itsu Dora 1, called Itsu Dora 1 Hats or Chun rather is is a stronger hand, and it gets me the ability to march towards what's it called? To march towards flush. But like those are long shots, and I don't know if I want to really count on those. The 8 so is also a little appealing because it's also way off in the middle of nowhere. And
yeah, so the 8-pin and the 8 so are the same. I don't see there's any difference between them. However, don't discard them. I'm glad that no one mentioned the flush. The flush is a terrible idea. The reason being, you've got the 3, 4. Like that's a nice shape, and you've got that. You've not got enough really working in that man suit to say, oh, this is a flush hand.
I feel like I'd pivot towards flush if like literally my next 2 draws were Hats and Chun.
Even then, I wouldn't recommend it because you'd have to throw away that tidy little weight there, the 3, 4. So I believe that you should only throw the 9-man.
I was thinking about that. I was like, do we just straight up flatten that shape out right now? And the only thing that diverted me from that thought is that because 9's an edge tile, it's usually reasonably okay to hold for later. But you're right.
That's
what
true.
happens if I get a third 9? What am I really... Well, I guess then I could use it as my pair.
I mean, you are East, so I don't think you have to be safe. You're not going to use the 2 9s as a pair because you've got that 8. It's just going to cause you a lot of sadness and drama. You could draw another 9, in which case, yes, okay, you're going to be sad you threw the first 9. It's not so likely you're going to draw another 9. So I think the two Yaku you want to be really thinking about here is, of course, the Itsu, if you get lucky, or the 3, 4, 5 Sanshoku.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put the 789, even though that's ridiculous, and even I think that's too far. But I will put it there because stranger things have happened.
I'd be a
The other
little
thing,
hype. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
the other thing I'd say as well is if you can build a weight that's near the end, so you're waiting on a 6 and a 9, you're more likely to get it. Which is why I would hold those 8s just a little bit longer.
I see. I see. A weight in another suit that's near, because a weight in the man suit
Yeah.
near the end is going to be shadowed by the fact that the door lives there.
Exactly. I mean, I just think the 9 man is the one that gives you the most value, the most options, and yeah, and it
Yeah.
works nicely around the door. I mean, the only problem here, of course, is if you throw the 9 man, and if you're in a very high level competitive environment, people will know that you've got a door. I don't think that's personally a problem. Telegraphing that information is not a problem. Your
Hmm.
dealer, if you telegraph to me, I've got a door, guys, you better have something. They're going to have to double check their hands right at the beginning. Go like,
Hmm.
do I
Yeah.
have something for this
Is this worth
Steeler
my time?
Dora?
Yeah.
Exactly. And I don't think you should be afraid of telegraphing, I've got a powerful hand. You should just be aware that's what you're doing.
Hmm. Hmm.
Mm.
See, would have this cool fantasy, and this is to be fair, this is wild fantasy at this point of ending up with a hand that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 9, 9. Because then it's like you get the 7 for the Itsu, or you get the door for the door, and that's awesome. But you're right, that is like
Yeah.
in the realm of delusion right now. I already have 2 of the 9s in my hand. I'd have to draw another 9 and the rest of the Itsu. And does that make me really better off, other than the fact that I can grab an extra Dora? Like, meh.
And yeah, if you draw another drawer, then of course that's your pair.
Yeah,
It's easy.
exactly.
Then yeah, and then we move away from Itsu. You throw the 1 man, and you start seeing if you can get a Sound Shocker or a Dragon
And
Pump.
what's really interesting about that is like you've kind of like transmuted value. Like you've
Mm.
taken the 2 Han from the Itzu and you've turned it to 1 Han of Dora. So you've like lost a Han there, but you might pick up like a Han's worth of speed in a weird sort of
Yeah,
way if you want to think about it that way.
I'm desperate to know what this player. Can you just see the first discard, and then we'll move on to the other guy's
Oh, I want
hands?
to talk about.
'Cause-
Okay, fine, fine. What does this player throw
yeah,
as a first
and then
discard?
we'll do each first discard, and then
Okay, okay.
come on,
Chun,
guy.
Chun. But Chun isn't a terrible play. I don't think. I wouldn't
No,
call
but it's
Chun a
not.
mistake.
It's not the right play because you could get another Chun, and as
That's
dealer,
true.
to be able to pawn and then just really just go for it with a Dora, that's powerful. Why would you remove that power from your hand without? If someone throws Chun in the first round, sure, throw it. But we don't
Yeah.
have that information.
Yeah, I think I do see what you're saying. The
Not a power
likelihood of
move. Well
you
done, Reki.
using the second 9 is basically 0. The likelihood of you using the Chun is a little low because you have to draw another, but non-zero. And so now you've removed a dream from your hand, um,
Yeah,
maybe
not a power move.
unnecessarily. It's still, and this is one of the interesting things about mahjong, right? Like what everything we're talking about here is very potential energy. Like it's very things that
Mm,
could happen. And so if you go through this game, it's very likely that this dealer will never see another Chun. Like for this
mm,
hand, like it won't happen. And you can say, well, it wasn't a mistake because it didn't happen, but you have to realize that these things are
mm,
aggregates over time. One
mm,
time in 10, it will happen, and you can either be able to pull in that energy or not. And that's why, or at least in my experience, that's the difference between like the high level pro players and people who are just
mm.
good. People who are good aren't making critical mistakes. They're not making terrible decisions that ruin their hand. But the high level players are always catching every possible puff of wind into their sails with things like this.
Mm. But yeah, Chial, it's particularly difficult if you're playing, yeah, in a live game because often, like I see people, they're like trying to quickly shuffle their hand together, and then they just pick an honor because they can see they
Mm,
only have one of it.
mm,
I wouldn't be afraid just to spend a couple of extra seconds because that's really all it will take just to glance again. And
yeah,
that's also
yeah.
why you should turn your tiles up as you're dealing them to yourself. Don't like sit there and like your little wall before then sort of
Yeah.
unfolding them. Like just start pulling them in and start thinking. It's tough, but yeah.
Yeah, don't feel pressured. Always take your time, and I don't think anyone else, or if you're playing with decent people, no one else at the table is like trying to pressure you into go 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 go. Like inhale, exhale, make sure you feel good about what you're doing from the beginning
Mm.
onwards. So let's see our next hand here. Our next hand has the other 2 9s, so the dream of drawing the third 9 was never going to happen anyway. And they draw a Tuso, which is actually pretty nice because it gives them a nice 2-3 shape. So what do they have? They already have 7 8 9 done. They now have 2-3 incomplete. they have 2/4/6 mon, which makes me look at that 1 mon. The problem is gives me back and forth. Like 2/4/6 means you can get rid of that 1 mon, or you can also have a dream of Itsu. Although I will say that like the Chun has become a much more attractive discard now that the dealer's thrown it. You're even more sure it's never going to go
Yeah,
anywhere.
here 1, 2, 3 Sanchoku with a Chanta. That's big points.
1, 2, 3 Sunshoku with a
That would
I
be
can see
big
that. Yeah,
points.
you got the pair in for the 9s already. You got the
Yeah,
2/3. You got the 1/2. You're in it to win it.
yeah. It
You,
could even be a
could even
Jun-chan.
be Junchan.
So
Yeah, it could be
no
Junchan if you
honors
do it
yet.
right.
Like, I think, and that would be an easy one to fold out of as well. So I would just throw the red one, and I'd see, and then I'd recess at the end of the first stage of the game, the first 6
Mm.
discards. How close you got to it, but
But one
yeah.
of the Dave things that I want to hammer home a little bit, and I think this is kind of like what Gemma said, where this is like, it's not that it's always right or wrong to do this, but be aware that you're doing it.
Mm.
You threw the Chun. This player now has a much easier set of decisions to make.
Mm.
You've made their life easier. You've made things simple for them because they know now Chun's down. It's just not happening. Short of like
Mm.
the edgiest of luck, and now I can throw my Chun as well and hang on to all the rest of my tiles and maximize what happens with them, and I feel confident about that. If you didn't throw the Chun, this player now has that equally hard decision of, is it worth wondering if I can get the Chuns in my hand? Is it worth
Perhaps,
holding on to that?
perhaps, perhaps they'll think about holding the Chin as a safe tile. They
Yeah.
might throw the White Dragon instead. I don't know. I think that here you can be a little bit putting your foot on the gas. So I probably throw the Red Dragon myself. But
Oh, and they do. Red Dragon's what comes out from them. Okay, so they hold their 2/3. Next player draws a North. What an interesting set of tiles for them.
it kind of sucks to me. Then there's no red fives, right? There's no red
There's no
fives.
reds, no reds. So
Huh.
they've got 4 pairs right now, which is kind of exciting. Um, 3 of those pairs go with Honroto. um, they have enough raw material in that hand that a called flush is not out of the question, although it's a bit aggressive.
Yeah, I think it's too aggressive. It's not. Doesn't flush really isn't. Half flushes are not. Don't have enough points really,
Well,
unless
this
you have
would
a
end up
Dora.
being, it would probably end up being Haku half flush if they called for this at this point, I would
Yeah,
imagine.
but that's really only 3 hand. It's not. I wouldn't personally do it
Shijoku.
unless it was the suit with the Dora and I could get a Dora in there. Then you're looking at Mangan. Then you're thinking about it. But here, no.
I feel like there's 2 ways you can really go here. One of them would be to cut one of these isolated ones and kind of hedge your bets a bit and see where you go. But the problem is, if you're going for Chito, you kind of want to keep those unexpected edge tiles to be the
Yeah.
tiles you win on.
Mm-hmm.
But like, what else would I cut out of this? The 4-pin maybe, because you already have the 6/7, so throwing the 4 like doesn't really ruin that. The
No.
5-man seems 5-man first discard is like my signature move, but that's a very bold statement to be
This is
like,
really
F this Dora Suji, I'm out.
I'm going to be honest. I'd be really tempted by the 5 because you're not in a red 5 rule set, and I
Oh,
wouldn't want
interesting.
to entirely say no to a flush.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I kind of want to keep the 1 bamboo because it's a potential. But you're really, I mean, and also it's Suji on the Dora, the 5 as well. So I could just, de-escalate that situation myself early.
Oh,
It's
thinking that it might
that's
be a dangerous tile for later.
yeah. I mean, it's a really unnecessary power move, maybe. But
Yeah, it is a BDE sort of move. Just being like, everyone's like, oh, Chun Chun. You're like, bam, 5-man. I
5.
am done with this garbage. And again, this is all part of that dialogue with the table. Just like
Yeah,
you're saying things every time you discard. You're saying something.
yeah,
Um, I don't know. That's tough. Let's see what they do.
yeah.
1 man.
I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything. I don't.
Yeah.
This is not a hand where there's one right move.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
This is one
It's
where maybe
reasonably
people can put
safe.
a flare up.
Keeps your
Yeah.
options reasonably open, and it happens. Oh, hey, look who gets the 3rd Chun. Comes right into
Yeah.
player left, who is going to have one of 2 reactions. They're either going to be like, how cool, a safe tile, or they're going to feel frustrated and just immediately throw it away because what a waste of my first draw. But looking at their hand, I might have.
I'd hold it as a safe. I'd throw the 9 bamboo.
The 9 bamboo is a good one because it's just isolated. I could see like a 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4 Sanshoku thing going on. Actually, 2, 3, 4 Sanshoku is not hard to get
Mm.
here.
No.
Kind of like the other Sanshoku options, like they have one complete and they have enough raw material that they could get to 2, 3, 4 Sanshoku. Um, yeah, I think the 9, they have a Dora hanging out, so they probably want to complete that.
Yeah.
And then, to be honest, I usually like to think of like what would I call and what wouldn't I call, but like a called Tanyao 2, 3, 4 Sanshoku Dora 1 is still 3 Han. So like I feel like there's being in like thinking in that realm. So when would you consider a hand like West into Toy Toy, if at all? Oof, that's a classic. The Chi Toy 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 question.
So right, okay. So let's imagine that one bamboo is either a five bamboo or a nine circles.
hmm.
Then I would call the white dragon and then make it to Toy Toy. But I would only start taking the Toy Toy away if I could get the white dragon. Exactly, Chiral. Exactly. You got it. That's exactly what I'd do.
So wait, I'm sorry. You would say the white dragon is the thing that would make you
So
call?
if I had a closed triplet and I could call the white dragon, then it's Toy Toy time.
Okay, so if you already have one of the 4 locked in,
Yeah.
and the next you're getting is the Haku, so you're getting the value out
Yeah.
of that,
Yeah.
then you go calling.
Well, but then I don't necessarily have to have a Toy. I could still
Yeah, you can
have
you
a
can just
two-sided
finish
way.
it. You can just get it
Yeah.
done. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. So I mean, there was a fashion a long time ago now for sort of using Toy as a power move. So really calling very early on. So you'd call from
Pong
this
Palace.
level, right? So just to sort of just to say to the table, right? I'm going to just do Toy. Can you go faster than my Toy? I don't like that personally. I think, but it was quite fashionable for a while to do that.
There's a fashion. I think there's still a bit of a fashion in some play circles to do that with flush. To just be like,
Yes.
I'm doing the flush and just like try to force it.
Right,
And
but calling a flush is a lot easier to avoid
yeah,
if you're facing a core flush than a core Toy.
yeah, it's
Because at
interesting.
some
I
point,
think those
yeah,
things. Modern Cheeto Theory is a big fan of making early cuts that look like a normal hand, and then at each hand you more select plus try to get a good weight. It'll keep you
yeah,
flexible. Mm.
yeah. I think that would work if you were in like a Tenhoi environment. I don't think that modern Cheetoy theory works so well in the West yet.
Yeah, I
Because
think it depends on again, like you're talking, and are people listening? I think if people are listening, then it works because they'll behave one way. They'll be like, "Oh, I see that it looks like you're making a normal hand. I engage with it that way. That's fine." If they're not listening, I don't know if playing that way will lower your odds of winning. But it might not have the intended effect.
yeah,
But it does make sense, yeah, to be like, "Oh, it's not a Cheetoy. I'm just hanging out," because yeah, defending against a Cheetoy is like
and I think
not
it's
possible
tough.
anyway.
I mean, I include myself in this. I'm not being like, oh yes, all the Western.
Um,
I think trying to tell people, well, you should be considering, how your discard pool looks. I don't think in general the Western scene is ready for that because most people can't get a general gist of a discard pool anyway. They won't be able to kind of read it and sort of, oh, that's a normal pin through hand, or that's not a normal pin through hand. Most people won't be at that level. So spending your time doing that might be a waste of your efforts. And also, it's a very difficult thing to do. I personally wouldn't bother doing it at this
I
point.
mean, I think it's part of the overall skill ladder that you're climbing, and I think it's a good thing to engage with and think about. I don't I don't know if people do that. I don't know if they'll immediately get practical effect out of it in the games they're playing today. But I think it's good knowledge. I think it's
oh yeah, I mean we should definitely talk about these things, but yeah, I just worry sometimes that I think sometimes we drop a little bit of theory into like a little bit of theory kind of works its way into the community, and then strange things start happening around it. Like what was like when Suji came out, and then that became like some, and then anything was a Suji trap.
Everything was
that's not a Suji trap. That's not a Suji trap.
But that's part of what makes Mahjong so interesting is that there is a community vibe and like a community meta that's going to impact play, and it's not like the kind of scenario where it's like I can just play one way everywhere I go all the time and always do well. I wish I could. That'd be awesome. But like,
and there's definitely fashions that come in and out. I mean, the other fashion that made me really laugh is that pros never wait on a Dora, and I'm like, what? How did that happen? Like, no one
it's
sent me
because they
that
already
memo.
they were born with all the Dora they need.
Yeah, they
don't need any
need
extra
to wait on
Dora.
them. But it is stuff like that, and then and there's been a fashion like like saying that urasuji, so the back suji and the matagi suji, just don't exist. They just
Which
don't
is
exist.
another given
Like,
too.
and of course they exist. Like if you are
Yes.
playing naturally, you are going to create those. Even the question about whether you should put weight on them is different.
Look, as what's her face says, like the Dora is her lover, which means she's already put an air tag on that thing and knows exactly where it is at all times. She does not have to wait for that.
Oh my god, is that what you people do in America?
Yeah, you just air tag all the tiles and then you know. There was a question here that slipped by. I'm going to go back to
What's
it.
that?
Didn't because just to embarrass you, didn't the Japanese commentary at WRC refer to somebody as Toy Toy Boy?
I did see that question, and I did let it pass by. Yeah, but I mean, again, it's a play style.
Yeah.
And I think it's always good that that player sort of brought a style that maybe the Japanese hadn't used for a while. And
Well,
you have to have you have to have all of these different kind of strategies in your toolkit, right? And then you have to take the right one out at the right time. That's the trick.
it's very much, weirdly enough, not that I condone this, but it's very much like warfare in a weird sort of way. Like, there's lots of
Mm,
different strategies and tactics you can use in war. Some of them will just work, like
mm,
inexplicably work. And facing something that's wildly different than what you're used to and what you've trained for can be a huge challenge, even if it's not necessarily good.
mm.
So let's see, we
Yeah.
haven't even got past the first round of discards. This player just does not give a crap and
Again,
discards the Chun.
I don't think there's an obvious wrong answer here. Like again, I feel like, yeah. I mean, for the West player here, sorry, he's North. Sorry, the North player here, I'd definitely be thinking, I don't need to push this. There's not really any value here.
Hmm.
Well, I
And
guess you get
holding,
Tanya,
I probably would have
Sanchoku. Okay,
held
yeah,
the
maybe.
Chun, thrown the 9, so I would have been like the only value I can get out of this first go round, because I've just drawn a tile that doesn't help me, is like the safety of this tile, so I might as well keep that. And
Yeah,
like,
I throw the 9 bamboo. I mean, it's not a pretty tile. And what, you're going to get a 7 or an 8 and end up with a really shitty
yeah,
weight.
like just a shitty weight anyway. It's like,
Like,
yeah,
I'm one of those people who just doesn't like shitty weight. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna remove the opportunity for the shitty weight and decision later on.
yeah, yeah.
Like, sort of anticipate the decisions you're going to have to make later on and make it easy on yourself.
It improves to disappointment, kind of like me, so I'm not going to keep it. I'm just going to throw it away. All right, so our dealer now draws another 5-man.
He's going to aggressively go for a flush now, and
You
I
think
don't
you think
like
they're
it,
going to
but
push a flush? I
yeah.
feel like there is a temptation. Like, oh look, I'm drawing more man tiles. Oh look, I'm getting pairs. Like all these things that give you that visceral, like what's it
And
called?
and if that was in his
Basely.
mind, if he was the flush sort of person, he shouldn't have thrown that red dragon.
Oh, that's true. But I mean, this gives you that very basal, what's it called? Like that like hindbrain, like good things are happening. Like I got a pair. I got another tile and suit I have the most of. Like this feels good,
Yeah,
but in
this.
reality, this 5 doesn't
Yeah,
really improve much of anything you have going on.
no.
So
I,
I
I I really don't like that 5. I'd
I'd be a
almost be
little
tempted to throw
tempted to
it.
chuck one of the 8s now,
I'm,
but
I'm,
I
from,
kind
from
of
from this
agree.
hand, I'd throw the 9 again.
5 men could pair into a 2-3-4 Sanchoku. That's
Yeah,
true. That's true. You could use it as a pair on the edge of the Sanchoku.
yeah. So I,
Um,
I would throw the 9
you'd
man here.
flatten out the 9.
I
Okay,
still
so you
want to
could.
get rid of that 9. I still hate it.
To
If
be
I'd have
fair,
kept the red
also,
dragon,
like if you're considering uh if you're considering that set as 8-9-9, and you've decided you're keeping the door, so that set really in your mind should only ever improve to 7-8-9. You say the 9 is valueless. It's
yeah, it should
meaningless.
improve to 789, or
Um,
it should be an 8-8.
and you've kind of moved by getting the 5. Let's say you consider this to be like a 1-3 and a 4-5. You've moved that like big pair energy over to your 5, your 4-5. Your 4-5 has now
Mm.
become 4-5-5, and you can get rid of the 9 because you never want like improving 4-5-5 into 5-5-5 is valid and something you might even ever consider doing, or even 3-4 or 5-5-5, which would be great. But improving the 8-9 and 8-9-9 into 9-9-9 is something you absolutely never want to do, because you never want to get
Exactly.
rid of the 8. So you
Just
can
get
get
rid
rid
of
of
the
the
9.
9 because it gets rid of a path you never want to go down. But keeping the
Just get.
5, you have opened up another path you might ever conceivably even follow, even if it's still not ideal.
Mm. So that's the thing. If he throws the 9 here, then I would argue that his discards were
You pick up.
just switched. They should have been a 9 and then a red dragon.
Yeah,
But I'm
Flamu,
pretty sure
Flamu,
he's going to keep hold of the 9 man and throw one of these 8s.
Flamu also mentions the Ipeco chance, which is something that I personally always find a little appealing, even though, again, like, really it doesn't happen that often, but, like, starting to overlay that stuff, I'm like, ooh, maybe Ipeco, it could happen. It, like, perks up my brain. And it is a chance. So let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see what they do.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
They get rid of the hots,
Okay.
which is another kind of like holding reserved sort of move of like I'm not going to make any calls about the number tiles in my hand. But again, it does throw out the option of what if you got a whole bunch of hots? Like what if something good happened to you with that hots? So
Mm-hmm.
that vanishes. Player to the right draws a west and immediately throws it away because it in no way helps him,
Yeah.
which makes some sense. Player across draws a hots and gets rid of the one bamboo. So this is
They're
interesting,
they're
as this
thinking
looks like
Chitoy.
they're thinking of keeping tiles that are interesting weights and actually doing exactly kind of what Flam was
Yeah.
discussing of like I'm going to make it look like I'm throwing these totally normal edge tiles to be trimming, while actually kind of thinking a bit about they're either really thinking about Chitoy or they're doing what I was thinking player left might want to do, is saying this is a very safe tile so that if everything goes bad for me here, I have something that I feel confident getting
Well,
rid of, or maybe
I mean,
both.
they've got two white dragons, they've got two north, they got ways out, and they got two
That's
nine. They
true.
got ways out of that
The
hand
North, the
easily.
Norths are very, very, very safe. The White Dragons could become toxic later on.
Yeah,
Um,
I think they'll have ways to get out of that if they need
and they
to.
have the
But
9 pin. They
yeah,
have the pair of the 9 pin also, which is going to be like more safe than not.
I
Player,
think a
here we
green
go.
dragon's a nice one though.
5 so in and 9 so out. One of the things that I always get self-conscious about, although I do think this was a good call, a reasonably good call, I always get a little self-conscious about manipulating the same suit. Like in my head, I take in a tile of a suit and I look at that suit because that tile in that suit will only impact that suit. And then I get rid of something in that same suit because I'm like, okay, I'm manipulating my work here in the so's or here
Mm.
in the man's. And I think I don't think this was a mistake or there's anything bad that happened here, but I think it's interesting and something that I think about is, am I drawing a suit and then immediately discarding the same suit? And you can watch what suits I'm working in by seeing what I discard.
Oh, really? Is that how you operate? That's weird.
I don't fundamentally operate that, but sometimes I find myself doing it. I find myself, my first instinct of being like, oh, I got this
Huh.
tile, is being like, well, I've now manipulated my tiles in this suit to be better, and now this tile in that same suit is meaningless, and so I can get rid of it. And it's like, while
Huh.
that might be true, you can actually change up the order of that and get rid of other meaningless tiles or other things you're intending on cutting if you have an image of what your hand will look like later on.
Okay. You know what? Tell me in another discard if you feel that way, because I haven't really thought about that situation. So you're gonna have to give me
Again,
some more
I'm
data.
not necessarily saying this player is making a mistake because
No,
they
no,
identified that 9 so as a very
yeah,
discardable tile
no,
earlier.
no. But I'd be interested to elaborate on that. But I think I need some more examples to really kind
Okay.
of comprehend what you're getting at.
So let's see. Here we go. Now we draw a 1 so here, which I would almost definitely just discard. We already have a 4
Yeah.
so we don't care about it. Out it goes. We draw a 2 pin here, which is interesting because this is now we have a pair of the 2 pin, but the question becomes, do we want a pair of the 2 pin? If we're looking at 1 2 3 Sanshoku or 1 2 3 or 2 3 4, we do not want a pair of the 2 pin. It does not help us. If we're looking at that Junchan situation, we don't ever want more than 1 2 pin. It does not help us. We already have a pair of the 9 man. So it's weird because I feel like this style doesn't help. But do I want to hold it anyway just in case I get a third of something? If I was really pushing this 1 2 3 2 3 4 situation, I might even throw the 6 man right here. And just be like, you're not helping. And be done with it.
I get rid of the 2 pin. I would.
You just throw the 2 pin as drawn. That might also be a fine option. You can get a door with a 9 man, so the alternate 2 pin pair is nice. That's true. If I draw a Dora, I end up with 8 9 9, and as we just spent a lot of time discussing, like 8 9 9, once I get that 8, is pretty much only going to break down into 7 8 9. So the 9 mans become possibly, and so that's the justification. If the 9 mans become possibly allocated to Dora acceptance, then the 2 pins make a good alternate pair. And yeah, Itsu becomes much more an option if you draw that 8. So yeah, maybe we keep it. Maybe we throw the Haku. As much as I don't like doing that. We can also throw a 9 man right now. And just say the 2 pins are the pair.
No. Just throw it out. You don't need to give people more information than necessary by
the Haku comes out to hold reservations. To say, I'm not sure what's going to happen here, so I'll throw the Haku. Now the question is, does player across call that Haku, or do they let the first one go by to see what they're doing?
Boom.
The answer is they call the Haku to get moving.
They're going to flush it.
You think they're going to flush it? The 5 man now comes out. That sounds like it's going to be a push towards a flush.
It's a flush. It's a flush or a toy. They haven't decided yet.
Yeah. So the 5 man comes out. Player left lets that go because calling this early for them is really, I think, almost disastrous. Like they're really just driving themselves into Nowheresville. They get a 6-pin, which might be good to hold on. But if they
Give it to
hold
the
on to the
east.
6-pin, it's probably going to be the east or the Huts.
Give it
And
to
it's
the
the
east.
Huts,
Bury
which
it
is
now.
the most.
Okay.
Well, they go the Huts, which I think is like in their mind the safer dragon. It would have been called if it could have been because there's a player willing to call.
It is safer, but the east is worth 2 hand to the east seat, obviously. So if you're going to throw it now. Don't
See,
hold it.
I agree. What I would be thinking now is we have one of two things going on if I throw this east. Well, one of three things is going to go on if I throw the east. No, I'm sorry. One of four. There are four possible outcomes to throwing the east. It's okay. Outcome number one is it passes.
Mm.
I've gotten rid of the east, and the worst thing that happens to me now is I draw more east later, and I feel a little sad, but not so sad because this hand didn't have value anyway. So like going nuts for east Dora, like meh. Okay, fine. Option number two is the dealer calls it. If the dealer calls it, I have pushed this hand in an interesting direction. We have one player
Mm.
who's called a Haku, and now the dealer has felt the need to accelerate as well because someone's obviously pushing, and now those two people are going to be going as fast as they can, and maybe I can kind of just stay out of it a little bit and just
Mm.
be like, all right, you guys are obviously just, you've declared you're fighting each other, and I don't really need to worry about this now.
Mm.
And the other two options are these other players call it. And the first one, which is the player across from me, the player who South calls it, is kind of the same thing. South and West
Mm.
are fighting. It's now the dealer's job to be upset and worried about that because they might lose their deal. And I kind of can not really participate in this because my hand isn't that great anyway. So whatever, like let them all go nuts and risk things for each other.
Mm.
And if West calls it, I've given West another Han, but now I can just be scared and stay out of their way.
Mm.
And again, let everyone, because I feel like with this hand that's not that close to ready, I might as well again throw some chum in the water and see who bites. And see
Mm.
who's considering this worth going all in on, because those are the players who are going to be much more inclined to deal risky tiles, to take risks, and I should be letting them be the snowplow that makes my way nice and safe and clear.
Mm.
That's
I
my
agree.
thought, at least.
I agree.
Okay, so Hots comes out. Our dealer gets the third 5-man. Look at that. They get the third 5. So now they've got to be a little psyched.
The 9-man.
9-man is actually a great thing to get rid of right now. These 8s I think are still fine to get rid of. They probably are going to now be thinking that flush is a thing that could ever happen to them, and so I think they're going to deal probably the 8 so is my guess. But let's
Why
see.
the 8 so over the 8-pin? I can't see any difference.
Basal brain thing of I need to get rid of suits to get to flush, and this is the suit I have the least material in.
Yeah, don't do that.
Done. Done. I am not this dealer, for the record. This is all guessing. This is all conjecture. I do not remember who these players even are. I am, again, this is really just talking about Mahjong. It's very divorced from any kind of personal opinions.
Okay, Flances, yeah, is technically slightly less efficient because there's one 9 so on the table.
True.
But and it's so early on to kind of divine that kind of stuff.
Oh no, welcome back. Get rid of pins since it's the least played yet. So that's the idea of pushing of dumping your most dangerous garbage out there first.
I think it's a crapshoot between the two of them. Really, I don't really think there's much in it.
Yeah. Poor South player gets another West and just hucks that because that's not helping at all. West gets an 8 so, which kind of doesn't help them, and they might just chuck. I could see them throwing this as drawn.
Yeah,
it helps them in no way, and they do, and it doesn't even look that suspicious. And I drew and discarded an edge tile. Yeah, but although they've thrown their 5-man already, like they've already made their statement. Everyone knows what they're doing. And here we get our 1, 2, 3. That's nice. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 6. But now the 1 doesn't really help with that 6 in there.
Throw the east though.
Throw the east, you think? And they do. Okay,
yeah.
now they're done with the east. They get rid of this east. It's out. No one can do anything with it, which they now know. Whew, dealer. Dealer draws a 2-man. They're making it happen. So now they have.
Well, after I said don't think about flush, I still think he's going to have a nasty problem with this 8-9-9.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's that nasty a problem. I mean, well, then we can see all the hands. It does become a bit of a tricky problem because, yeah, if you're worried anyone else is sitting there with 7, 8.
But then why didn't they keep their honors as well? Like,
because I'd say it's a meta thing where like throw out your honors early to make your to get towards your like pin futanya to get towards your number tile based shapes is kind of meta. People think
This
to
is
do it, they kind of default to doing it a
really.
little bit.
This is like the first chapter of one of Nikaido Aki's books. Like, just
So
don't throw out
this,
your
I'm
honors.
betting it's the 8 pin that
Yeah, I
goes
think
because the
it
4
has to
is
be the
there,
open.
and for
Yeah.
people who play in mixed environments, that 4 is going to seem very, very important to you because you might get a
Mm,
red 5. If you're used to playing in environments where there are reds, that 4 becomes like a lightning bolt in your hand if you're paying attention
mm.
because yes, you don't want to have to throw away that red 5 if you draw it. So like the 4 is going to naturally have some shine to it. So my bet is 8 pin.
I think it has to be open.
Yes, I'm doing it right. 8 pin comes out. Um,
I just like you're gonna have to call this. It's just gonna be awful because what you're gonna have to pawn the 5, chi the
no,
3,
I'm imagining what you're going to end up doing really is you
chi a
want to
6,
8 pin also
pawn a
leads to
9. What are you
Sancho
gonna
is
do?
true.
What are you
You have
gonna
3,
do?
4, 5. You could do Sanshoku 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, you're gonna pawn a 9. Is that what you're gonna do?
No, you're gonna eventually throw like in my ideal situation, you're gonna you're gonna eventually throw the 9 like your next two discards if you draw everything you need should be the 9 and the 4 so to go into reach.
I don't know. I hope I'm wrong, but I think Mahjong is setting this poor player up for a terrible fall.
It is possible. We'll have to see. All right, poor player South has just not gotten anything they really care about. They get a 2
Mm,
ban. I don't think that
just
really
crack it.
helps them do anything. They throw the
Mm.
1. Interesting. Um, I'm not sure what the plan is here. There's Sanshoku Doko on the 2. There's I just want to be able to call Tanyao. I'm not 100% sure why the 1.
Mm,
There's I want to make sure I throw something that the player to my right doesn't need. Maybe?
yeah, it
Maybe.
could
I
be
just
starting
don't
to
want
think
to feed
about
this Toy
fold.
Toy. And I guess
Mm,
because they have 2-4 already, the 1 doesn't actually help them. So like,
yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna throw something. I'm gonna throw something that my know that player does not want, so I'm not helping them and kind of preserving my
Mm.
options. Ah, 7 pin drawn by our collie player across player west, and this might give him a big push
5
towards
bamboo.
Toy
Throw
Toy
it. Do
Flush. Do
it.
you think 5 bamboo? Hots.
Oh, okay.
Probably because 2 hots are out. It will never be part of their Toy Toy,
Oh,
and they
he
might as
could.
well
Yeah,
keep
I
the
could
Toy
get
Toy
toy
option
toys.
going
Fair
before
enough.
5
Fair
bamboo.
enough. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Our North player gets another 1 pin. 1-1. It's not
That's
so
nice.
bad. That's not so
That's
bad.
nice.
But what would I
I'd throw
throw
the
out of that?
I'd throw the 4 man because if you
Yeah.
get the 5 man, you're not going to throw the 8 man, are you?
Yeah, I kind of would think the 4 man's good. Yeah, I'm never getting rid of the 8. The only acceptable outcome for that set is either 6, 7, 8, or for some insane reason I discard the whole thing.
Mm,
So, the
4 man.
6 pin.
Okay.
I'm thinking about this. That's an interesting choice because you've eliminated your 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6 option.
And you've lost the 5. You can't use the 5 pin or the 7 pin now, or the 6 pin,
Yeah. All right. I'm
or
not,
the 8 pin,
and I don't see that as any kind
or
of
another four
defensive play
pin.
unless they're trying to get rid of a dangerous tile
Yeah.
quickly that they
No, I'd
think they
want to
don't
get rid of
need.
that 4 man. Yeah, because yeah, what if you get a 5 man? You're gonna have to throw the 8. You're not gonna like that either.
Yeah, or you're gonna turn it into your pair and just be sad forever as you wait for it.
Mm.
6 man comes. Oh, look at that! Look at that! Our dealer gets the 7. 7 man. They are making this happen. But this is again, this is where I'd imagine they throw the 9 because the 7's manipulating that set directly.
No, I mean this is brilliant for an Itsu. I'd throw the 4 bamboo out at this
Hmm.
point. You have to. I'm wrong. They're better than me. They should throw the 4 man, 4 bamboo. Sorry.
Oh, they do. They do.
Yeah.
The 4 bamboo is thrown. Sorry, I'm getting.
My initial play would have been wrong, but yeah, here. I mean, the question for this hand now is: do you call the 6 man if it comes out from the player on your left? I mean, yes, of course you do. You're
That's
the dealer.
interesting. Yeah, I guess that's true because at this point, the 4 bamboo will never become anything in any of your sets. You're done.
The
Um,
real problem for you is if the 9 man comes out, do you call it for a pawn
9
and
man
go for a yeah? If you go for
and
full
go for full
flush,
flush. No.
if
My personal thinking is you need to restrain yourself a little bit here. And for the full
okay,
flush, you need to draw it yourself or not make it happen because in my mind, if I call the 9 man, that is a hard declaration of full flush from the dealer.
if the 8 man comes out, do you call it?
Maybe. Maybe.
See, I would say not cheese a 9-man because I feel like you're getting yourself into more troubles because then you're gonna possibly be fishing for a final 9-man there. Um, although although
Hmm.
you've got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so you've got nice shapes. Yeah, maybe cheese a 9-man. I think the real question is the real challenge. Yeah, cheese a 9-man. I cheese the 8-man as well.
Yeah, you end up with a penchant 7 man with two. Yeah, it's a rough. Calling this right now is rough. If I drew one more man tile, I'd be so hyped about ever calling this. But right now,
Because you're playing online, this is a good conversation to have. But I'm telling you right now, if you're playing live, just call it. Just call it because it just makes it easier on the weights, and you won't make a mistake, and you won't chombo.
that is a
Now,
fair perspective. I think that is a fair perspective.
I have heard a professional advise another professional to do exactly that. Okay, so the woes you have when it comes to full flushes are their woes too. Like so,
Just call
because
it
you
so
get
you don't
stressed.
fuck up the
It doesn't.
weights.
It doesn't matter how many of those exercises you do. It's a much different situation when and you don't
Yeah.
see full flushes. You don't see concealed full flushes that often. And you're sat there and you're like, oh my god, I'm dealer. I've got a Dora. It's a full flush. What am I waiting on? What am I waiting on? And then you start seizing up, and then people are like, oh look, they've got a flush. Well, I guess I won't throw any of those. You're much better off looking cool and just calling it and not giving away that you're panicking.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Fair advice. Actually, I kind of agree with that. To something like I don't know. I've gotten in my old age. I'm not so awful at those weights, but I'm definitely not king of them. And like, yeah, making the mistake is far worse, far more embarrassing to be like Rowan, and someone's like, dude, what? Like,
I've
you're
done it. I've made that mistake. Actually, it was terrible though because I knew my weight and I changed my weight on my draw, but I hadn't updated my brain on the new weight, and so the player next to me immediately froze the weight I was waiting on.
oh
Just one,
no.
and I didn't even get as far as turning my tiles over. They were like at a 45-degree angle, and I'd already said Ron, and I was like, oh no, no, that was okay like 45 seconds ago, but now I'm screwed. So actually didn't say Ron. I just put my tiles down and said Chombo.
In my usual Dave luck, I reached a full flush in a tournament many years ago. I reached a full
Mm.
flush, and then I went through the drama of not realizing I was footy 10 at all, letting my win go by because I just didn't read my hand right, but then immediately sumoing it. So it was all fine anyway.
I can just see the faces of your competitors
Yeah,
now.
I'm just sitting there like, I am not proud of this. But it's a good thing I was too dumb to know my weights, because if I tried to win off you, it would have been real bad for me.
Oh, we're so good at
To
this
be
game.
fair, it was exactly what you said though. It was an in-person game. It was stressful. It was near the end of the event. I was really nervous, and like, yeah, it was just straight up nerves. And you make a mistake, and that's life. Like, that happens. So 4 comes out. This player South draws a 6.
Yeah, South has had terrible,
Terrible
terrible, terrible
draws.
draws. I would say just you got to fold there, mate.
They
Yeah,
just
it's not
throw the
worth
6.
it.
They're like, it's not happening. I'm getting rid of this.
Yeah, I'd start thinking about a fold here though. Like this is just nightmarish for him.
6 goes to West, who just throws it as well because they have their pairs ready, and they're like, all right, I'm not
Mm.
entertaining this. Also, it's very safe. It just got thrown. Another 4 here for North. Hmm.
I
Maybe
found it.
I might start throwing these 1 pins if I'm. It depends on how I feel. If I'm optimistic, I say to myself, I now have a pair that's much more Tanyaui than this 1 pin pair, and the only way I'm getting anywhere at this table is probably going to be called Tanyao Dora 1. So I might as well start
Mm,
throwing these edge tiles and seeing if I can push this towards Tanyao Dora 1 if I call it at all.
mm,
But like, on the other hand, the question is that worth calling in any way? I don't know. Kind of
mm.
no. In which case, maybe I would just throw the 4 as it is. It's like, it doesn't help me. It doesn't do nothing for me. Um,
I think you should have thrown the four before though because of this 8 problem.
yeah, and this dealer hand where he's thrown no man tiles and a lot of like at this point he's taken all these tiles out of his hand. The 8s don't look too scary. The 4 is a little scary. Like,
I don't know. I think a cheat away from this point is pretty tough. Are you on
oh
your
yeah,
6 discard here?
yeah. You
Yeah,
you have
I
1, 2, 3, 4 pairs. It's not impossible.
It's
Um,
not, but you don't have any safe tasks to fold. I don't know.
yeah,
I certainly wouldn't like to push a cheetoy here. I wouldn't mind flirting with one,
I'd flirt.
but I
I'd be
wouldn't
much more
push
hype
it.
about flirting with one if one of my pairs was a tile I felt was very decisively safe. Like if I felt like I had a really clear way out, I'd be like, all right,
Mm.
let's see if it happens. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But they throw the five so.
Yeah, that's probably what I would do.
They're just getting so this
Because
one. This is get rid of a dangerous tile because if they draw
no,
four
I
so
mean,
anyway, they have 2-3,
yeah, it maintains the flirt as well. You
and the
could
six
still
so
get rid.
actually just got pummeled. So like the
Mm.
chances of expanding that 5 into 5-6 are much less now. But this is a pair for West. So the question is, this is West's big question. Are you going for Toy Toy
Toy
or are you going
toy or
for
not?
Flush?
Yeah.
And West's answer is
Boom.
call. Toy Toy time for West.
Hmm.
And so now they're probably going to throw this 4-pin.
I think that was the right answer. I think going for a full flush at the six discard is tough. So.
Yeah. I think they getting a move on. It doesn't look like anyone else is getting a lot of traction. So just
Mm.
getting a move on and getting done with it is probably the best answer.
Mm.
So they throw the 4-pin. Ooh, we got a 1. So now we have another 1-2-3. We have two 1-2-3s in this hand. And I wonder if they're just going to throw the 2-so to flatten it out. Or if they're going to try to do something a little craftier. They throw the 2-so to flatten it out.
Yeah. I feel like the time for setting crafty works is gone now.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what they're going to do. Like they have 1-2-3, 1-2-3, and then two pairs of 4. So they're tempi if they get a 7-man, but they're tempi on this like
Yeah, I don't
weird
like this
weight.
hand at all. I would want to be, planning my exit
Yeah,
from it.
you
It's
want to be
not.
done with it.
Yeah.
Our dealer draws a 7-so. Oh, the flow's been broken by that 5-man Pong. The 7-so is probably just going to come right out, and it
Yeah.
does. There's no place for it there. South draws a Hots, which comes right out. No place for it there. West draws a South, which probably should just come right out. I think there's no home for it in what they're doing. They
Mm.
throw the 6-pin. Okay, they've decided they're going to get rid of, if they're doing Toy Toy, they're going to get rid of the more dangerous tile.
Right, but then
But
you've cut off your opportunity to just end the game.
yeah, I feel like I don't know. They're a little bit ahead of the game right now. They're making things happen and no one else is. They might have wanted to keep the option to just get it done as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they throw that away in pursuit of Toy Toy. 6-so come off. We got rid of our 5-so because we were dreaming we wouldn't get a 6-so. We get a 6-so, and now it goes because it can never help us. Our dealer gets a West, and this is a little bit of an interesting case. But two Wests are out already, so probably no. We just throw it.
Yes. Yeah.
Ooh, the elusive 7 makes it to South. And what do we think of here? This gives us some fuel for our 7-8-9. But we still need all three in the so tile. It's not going to happen.
Again, your first line discard. You got to build an exit strategy now. There's no value here. It's clumsy. Just exit.
Well, this gives you 6-7. You can accept a Dora cleanly. That's nice. So what you have here is you have the 2-3 shape. You have the 7-8-9 complete. You have a 6-7 shape now, and then you have a whole bunch of awkward pairs. So you're not really in a good zone here.
No, and look what Crazy's doing on the right. I would just be looking at that individual and just being going, okay, I'm gonna play safe. I'm not gonna do this. I don't have to be involved.
Yeah. So what would you throw to do that? What would you throw to make that exit?
It's a good question. I'm just looking at it, and that's the thing. They actually haven't given themselves an exit strategy.
Yeah. 2-man maybe.
I
Like
mean,
discarding 2-pin, don't want feeding tiles near the door to the player. They got rid of 4-6-pin. Because my thinking on 2-man is player to the next player, the Toy Toy player, already threw the 5-man. So he's not doing some sneaky like, oh, I've got a really quick out, I'm finishing it Suji thing with a 2-sided weight. So they're probably, if they're prioritizing a 2-sided weight to go quick, it's not the 2-man. I have 2 of the 2-man. So if I get away with it, I have another one, and they'd have to have all the other 2-men in the game to make the 2-men their Pong. I don't know. It seems rational. I think the 2-pin option is rational.
yeah.
The 4-6 coming out seems to imply there's nothing around there unless they're really just hard.
The problem with all of that is that you can look at the player on your right, so the player who's in the West seat at the moment, and they're obviously not going for a pin through hand.
But the other two might be.
The other two,
dealer's discarded what they've drawn for the last 2 draws, which means I should be thinking that they might have something going on.
Really, I would assume that they're slow from those draws. I'd assume that maybe they had something going on, but they're going too slow now. my biggest concern would be the player on my right. And they're obviously not got a regular hand, so that really makes all of the decision making difficult. And I don't think there's a good answer. Maybe the 2 bamboo.
2 bamboo. Interesting. I'd be a
Because it's
little worried
very
about the
close
2.
to the 1 bamboo. I guess the 2 man for the same reason you could do. I wouldn't throw the 2 pin.
The 2 bamboo would be more threatening if they hadn't discarded 3 bamboo tiles already. Like, if I would be a little worried they were flushing as well, but they've discarded enough bamboo that I doubt it. It doesn't seem like it. Like, the fact that 8 and 6 just, like, came out until, like, they didn't even flirt with it makes me think there's probably not a bamboo flush.
3 bamboo? You can see 2 1s. You know where the 5s are.
Most people... Two other players are throwing the 6, so you have at least some vague Suji coverage.
Yeah.
3 bamboo isn't a terrible idea here.
3 bamboo is my final answer.
All right, let's see what this player did. 9 man.
No.
That's dangerous, because if the player to your right is trying to work a door, you know, they might be flirting with that Toy or this Dora, and you could have just given it to him. Your thought is if they have 4 pin, they're not discarding 4 pin first over the 6 pin if they play efficiently, like most of the people here.
I think if people are doing Toy, as we've just seen with that 6 pin throw out with us to hold the south, people don't behave efficiently with Toy.
9 mans are risky. It's a risky disc.
And 9 man is a push, and I would say, what are you pushing here? What are you pushing? You don't have a Dora locked in. You don't have a Yaku beyond a potential pinfu, and it's not even a nice pinfu because I don't know how you're going to make one at the moment.
Yeah, it'd be really hard. You'd have to get if you get the 3-mon, like that's how you get to a nice pinfu. That's a huge if. I'm just saying the path to a nice pinfu is 3-mon. It's that 1 tile.
Yeah. I mean, I'm
not saying that's a good path. I'm saying a path does exist. It's very narrow, but that is the one. There is one. It's not impossible. I'm here to play devil's advocate, don't you know? Now, our dealer will be given the opportunity to pong the 9 man, but I think we talked about that. I think that would be not.
Oh gosh, I forgot. Yeah. Well, let's see what they do.
Yeah, let's see what they do.
Pong.
They do pong the 9 man.
Well, they might be in the same sort of like, you know what? I would call this a real tar game because it's
just
better,
simplifies
easier.
This crap. So they're probably going to throw either the 3 or 4 pin because right now,
I mean,
but
if you think they can call the 3 man, the 6 man, the 5 man, the 9 man,
they still this is not ruinous for them. They still have a lot of ways to push this forward, but it is a bit more aggressive than maybe I would have thought. And they throw the 4 pin, which is fine. 3-4 is what has to go now anyway. But this is in my mind an incredibly decisive statement of I am doing a man flush.
I just wouldn't have because let's say if you'd have drawn a 2 pin or a 5 pin, you could have thrown the 9 man and gone for an Itsudora pinfu.
Yeah. The thing, and again, I think this is one of those like getting every puff of wind in your sails thing, of like.
It would have been a really nice weight as well, right? If you had the 2, 3, 4, have the 7, 8, 9, you'd be waiting on the 1, the 4.
Wait, which way? Sorry, you want me to undo this pawn?
So go back before the pawn.
Okay, so if you drew what and did what?
If you drew a 2 pin or a 5 pin and threw the 9 man, you'd be waiting on the 1, the 4, or the 6, right?
Yes, yeah, no, 1, 3, 4, 6.
That's right. 1, 3, 4.
1,
That was
3,
the
4,
other. That was the
6
other. That was the other
friggin'
reason I was looking for. Yeah,
awesome.
I was like, no, there's another one. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 1, 4, 3, 6, 9 gives 10 ways. Oh, you're talking after the pong. Yeah, after the pong, you're correct. Then it's been slowed down and it's really hard. And yeah, the 1, 3, 4, 6 man reach weight is like insane. That's what I don't know. Maybe I'm just hyped for cool weights, but like that's a really cool weight. Yeah, because
and as I said, I'm never. If you're gonna go for a full flush, I'm never gonna diss you for calling it because it
does make it simpler to read. All right, so we pong this, we throw the 4 pin. South gets South, but actually South hasn't come out at all. So how does South feel about South? At this point, I might be thinking I'll just throw the other. If I throw the final 9 man, I might be in big danger now. Actually, I really shouldn't throw any man tile at all. Because the dealer has just done this. Like throwing any man tile is now incredibly dangerous, because it's almost definitely a dealer Hanuman. So what do I do? Throwing the south is a little dangerous because the dealer is obviously going for a flush, and what if it's not a full flush? So now the only tiles that are really safe is this section of my hand from the 2-pin to the 3-so.
I would say it's not a full flush because they threw the red dragon and the green dragon out. You're safe. Throw the fat south.
Oh, you mean not a half flush?
Sorry, not half flush. Yeah, it's not half flush. They throw the south.
They do throw the south. They do throw the south, and they definitely get away with it. 3-pin comes and immediately goes to Toy Toy player, which must make our dealer a little relieved. Although actually, player left could and does not call the 3-pin. North is drawn by North, who then throws the North, and then Toy Toy player calls the North, throw the South, get Tempai on Toy Toy with the 7 and 9-pin. The 7-pin comes to our North player, who throws a 4-pin now. Now they're worried about dealing in to our 3-call player. 3 calls, of course, is the point at which a player is Tempai.
You'd hope they're Tempai.
Yeah. But at this point, they're like, okay, I'm just going to throw a safe tile and not worry about it at all because this is looking incredibly scary. Okay,
yeah,
fine.
and also, and dealer is also transmitting that they're moving, and the 4-pin
that's true.
is hard.
4-pin's very safe on the dealer. So we have the 2 most dangerous players. That's a fair safe play. The dealer draws a 3-so and almost definitely deals. Wow, they throw the 3-so. I was thinking they were going to throw the 3-pin because it's very safe and it gives them another round to hopefully make something happen. But they push with the 3-so.
No, I wouldn't like throwing the 4 and the 3 next to each other like that. I think you're telling
you think it makes too obvious. Well, but you're throwing the 3-so as drawn. Everyone knows. Everyone knows your filthy secret.
I know. I don't know. You're trying to find that point where someone's really hoping. Oh no, but there's always someone on the table who just hopes a little too hard, and those are the people who can trip up.
Take advantage of them. Eat their hope.
Yeah.
5-pin comes into South. Ugh.
I feel really sorry for them. Their life sucks. I'm sorry.
They throw the 9-man, which is this is a gutsy play, but they're going to get away with it.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're pushing here. I really don't know. I'm sorry, player. I don't know what you're doing.
Player West gets a 3-man. I bet they throw it, but I bet they don't like doing it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they have to. Yeah.
Yeah, they have to at this point. They're pushing, so they got to just do it. Okay, North gets and throws a chun. Our dealer gets it. Oh no! They could have had their sweet. Well, I guess the Pong changed the draw order anyway, but they could have had their really cool weight. But they'll throw the 2-pin as is, which is also a little rough. This 3-pin is very safe, but they want to hold it.
I think there's much difference between the 2 and the 3 here.
Next player now is a little scared of the South for some reason. Even though there are 2 out on the table. Or maybe they're holding it for later safety. They threw the 2-pin because the 2-pin just came out, and that's incredible.
The 2 is safe now. The 2 is safe now. It may not be safe in 2
days. So we throw the safe of the now. We keep the safe of tomorrow for tomorrow. 7-so comes and goes. 4-so comes in. 1-so comes out. That's a nice little walk. 1-so is safe on both of the most dangerous players at the table. Hard safe on both the most dangerous players at the table. That's fine. Our dealer gets a 6-so and just they're pushing 6-so, and 6-so safe on literally everyone else. So hey, nice. 4-so comes to this player. So now they throw the other 2-pin because both of the dangerous players haven't changed their hands. Player across threw a 1-so, which is so they're continuing their spree of I can get away with it. 1-man, another thing must make this player uncomfortable to throw, but comes and goes. 5-pin. And this is where but you could throw this 2-pin actually.
You could throw the 1-pin.
Yes.
I can see all 4 2s.
But Toy Toy player wouldn't care, would they?
That's true, but I mean you've got 2 of them.
Yeah. I would have probably I think the 2-pin was the better play there. The 2-pin is very safe.
If you wanted to be hard safe, the 2-pin, obviously, you're quite right, or the 4-pin. However, if you wanted to, actually, you could throw the 4-pin and still kind of keep yourself alive.
Yeah, because you'd have 1, 2, 3, 5, 7.
Yeah. So but if you 4-pin, or
the
then
other
and
challenge
then if you,
here,
is
that this is the classic mahjong. You went back, like the 6 was thrown earlier, like you'd already decided this was not happening for you. And then you kind of doubled back a little bit. Yeah, well. Deal into Haku Toy Toy for 5,200 points. Not as bad as the dealer's ridiculous Potential full
Right.
flush
So we just spent
to chase
just over.
rabbits. Oh
I don't think two pin cabbage.
no!
Yeah, if there's sorry, I think I just because we've always spent an hour and 15 minutes talking about this hand. Should we go to
The last hand.
the no the first south hand after this
Okay.
maybe?
Yeah, we'll jump forward. But
Yeah.
the dealer was gonna
Two.
draw his 6-man.
So I don't think two pin
Oh,
cabbage matters if you think the west seat is on Toto. No, you're right, it doesn't. But the fact you've got two of the one pins does.
that helps a little bit. Yeah.
Only a little bit. I think the four pin was the right discard. Yeah, four pin was the right discard if you were trying to keep yourself alive.
Yeah, because then you just keep the five
Probably,
seven.
but I really, again, I think I probably would have folded if I was in either a south or west seats. I'd have started my exit strategy about 5, 6 discards before, so I wouldn't have got myself into this situation.
And this would have ended up being a 9-6 3-man weight, and I think the dealer would have gotten it because this 3-man would have been drawn by player across, who has seemed to be comfortable pushing it, and so it would have been dealer Haneman. Again, this is chasing into the wall. This is all like woulda, coulda, shoulda stuff.
Mm.
Okay, so let's jump forward because this ended up being a close game. So don't worry, this is not a game of anyone's problems. But let's jump forward to South 1. So here we are in South 1, and the scores are not that diverse. Like, people have gone back and forth here.
Gosh, it is close.
Yeah. So let's think about what am I doing?
Oh, look, it's a hand with only one answer again.
Yeah, this hand's real friggin' good. Is the answer
It's
one
not
man?
good. Yes, the answer is one man. It's not good. Let's not kid ourselves. These are some nasty weights here. But these are the hands where drawing another dragon tile really is the strength,
It's
right?
important, yeah. It'll just let you
Because
go.
yeah, exactly. You've got some really shitty weights here. I'd throw the one man and be hoping that I draw another dragon.
Mm-hmm. So
So let's see what
again,
the first
thinking about
discard
my initial thesis, which did not really get to cover very much because we haven't covered many hands. We talked a lot about that one hand, a lot of interesting stuff. Is like, yeah, where am I and what do I need to do? Right now, South is the person in the hot seat. They do have some time left in this game. They're South in the South round, which is nice. They have another dealership coming, which is nice. But they're in last place, and they're below 30,000. Both of these things are very bad for them. They're the only player below 30,000. In addition, all the other players are so close that like one or two Han hands are going to be placement changes, and that means people are not going to be too afraid of going very fast if they think they can like get two Han, go from a two Han, a third can get into first with a two Han hit on the dealer. Even I think a two Han sumo would get them into first. So you're in last place, which is bad, and everyone's ready to go fast, which is also kind of bad. So this is a tough time for them. As a dealer, I'm also feeling a little insecure. My last deal, anyone can easily overtake me. So like I think everyone's going to be feeling a lot of pressure that they have to push here. So what would you be thinking?
Should we? Well, I mean, for the dealer, should we just do it the same before and go through each of their first discards? So for the dealer, I'm just hoping for a Dragon Pond Dora.
That'd be nice.
There is no Cord Tanyao here. You're probably not going to get a Pinfu. So just chuck the one man and pray to Mahjong God.
Okay, let's see if they do it. They do it. One man chucked. Prayers begin. South player. Oh man, South player. You got a pair of Easts, which is no longer good for you. You've got Southwest Haku, which South will at least fill you with dreams. West is totally useless, so maybe West is a thing to throw here. The one show is pointless.
You're going to hear something I rarely say.
Flush?
Keep the flush alive here, so throw the one bamboo. The one bamboo is not helping you anyway.
One bamboo is the least valuable tile they've got, yeah. Everything else could conceivably contribute to something.
Yeah,
but they throw the West.
Answer. Yeah, they throw that idea.
They throw the West.
Why? Why keep the one bamboo? What is it doing for you?
Yeah, like even if you get if I get two more Wests, I at least have a Pong that contributes to my flush. If I get two more one bamboos, I'm Tempai, I guess. Like
sad. I don't know. Yeah.
There's no benefit there. I don't know, but I can get 2s and 3s. Who knows? Good draw for West, the 8. I'm seeing probably the one man or the one pin are good to cut right away. East is kind of valueless for them. Haku's maybe.
Yeah, I'll probably go straight for the one pin.
I say one
There's
pin, yeah,
no
because it's
loss.
a set that you can immediately improve,
Yeah.
and they do. And now North, who has a friggin' crackerjack hand right out of the gate. You got the Chun, you
Wow.
got a pair
Yeah.
of Souths. Like North should be fantasizing that they are calling this hand very aggressively.
Yeah. This is
Um,
what you want to see.
if so, I'd be happy the 5 pins were now my pair because surely I'm calling South. I'd
Yes.
be thinking 1-2 is a block. I'd be thinking 7-8 is a block. I'd be thinking that 4-so is great for accepting the Dora. So I'd be
Hmm.
eyeing either the 3-man or the 8-so as the things that
Yeah.
I
Eight.
don't need.
Eight bamboo. Eight bamboo.
8-so. 3-man. But I'm gonna say same logic was applied there.
Yeah.
But our dealer could call it, but would
Yeah.
they? I
So
don't think
Flam.
they would.
So Flam, I agree. I
Yeah, so
don't
get
want
rid
to
of the
get.
Dora
I
Suji.
don't want. I want to keep the. I want to get rid of the Dora Suji. I want to.
Mm.
I don't want to do
You're
it.
right. 3-man is better for acceptance. 3-man has better shapes around it. Dealer gets and immediately discards West. Woo! South gets a Haku. All right, all right. Now this flush thing is coming together a little bit. We got East, we got Haku, we got 7-8-9. We got some stuff. So hopefully now the 1-so gets the heck out of here because no one needs it, and it does. Okay. West gets another 6-so, which is also very interesting. I really don't know what they want to do here with all these tiles. Like maybe the 1-man
Yeah, one man. Oh, or East. You know, it's
or East. It's East this
yeah,
time,
yeah.
but
Because it
East
is.
does not get called by South. South decides to be patient,
Okay,
which is interesting.
that's nothing wrong. But
North gets a West and just throws it because West has come out already.
mm.
Dealer gets a 9-pin, and I'm gonna bet just throws it.
Yeah, I would.
Just throws it. Here's a 7 for South. Do we throw the South or do we throw the 7 we just drew? I'm gonna say probably the 7 we just drew.
I would. Yeah.
It doesn't help us, but they throw the South instead. I guess because they figure South just ain't going on.
Mm-hmm.
But this South gets immediately called by North, who then throws the 8-so. So they're proceeding along the path we've discussed. Dealer draws their 3, which puts them in a somewhat better position. But now they're going to choose between the Haku and the Hots. They choose the Hots, which doesn't help anyone, which is good for them.
Mm-hmm.
South gets a 4-so. Now, I'd want to keep this 4-so because of Dora possibilities. I'd probably be throwing the second 7-man.
Yeah, now that you've decided you're not going to get a flush, yeah.
But they throw the 4-so away as drawn. West gets a 2, so they've now got 2-3. But what are they going to throw? Maybe the Haku based on what they've been doing? I still am eyeing this 1-man as something to be gotten rid of.
Yeah, I don't want the 1-man personally.
Okay, the 1-man. The 1-man is what they get rid of at this point. Cool. Look at that. We get a 4. So this in my mind I would shuffle out the 1-pin because it's just better. But they instead get rid of the 4-so, which looks like they're considering pushing this to a flush as well. I don't like that. I really don't like getting rid of the possibility of Dora acceptance because the last thing I want to be doing is throwing Dora, especially when I'm right next to the dealer, who again is going to be alarmed by this calling and thinking to themselves, I got to make something happen here.
I agree.
The dealer, however, restrains himself and does not call the 4. Now, this 5-man gives them the beginning of an opportunity to walk towards what might become pin. Look how hedgy I am in saying that. Like, if I was them,
Dave is not giving financial advice.
Yeah, Dave, this is not financial. What I'd be thinking here with this, in this moment, is I need to make a decision. If I throw this Haku, I'm saying this hand is worth at least trying for. And I'm saying... Yeah, because otherwise I'd be holding it and not putting.
Are you saying that to yourself or to the people on the table?
No, to myself. To myself.
Right. Yeah, to yourself. Yes.
And then I'm probably going to hope that I can get enough nice Pinfu shapes that I can get rid of these 9-mans and turn this into Reach Pinfu Dora 1.
So Chirel asks, is you weird for not hating the overlap between 1, 2, and 4, 5, 5? No, you're not. And I think if the 4 bamboo wasn't Dora adjacent, there'd be no problem. It's because the 4 bamboo is adjacent to the Dora that it makes me unhappy.
Yeah, the issue is not that 1, 2 is worthless with 4, 5, 5, because the 3, again, this is one of those things where it's like, 4, 5, 5 is great because 3, 5, and 6 make it better, and 1, 2 is not as great because only 3 makes it better. But, like, if you get a 3, you now have your done 1, 2, 3, and that 4, 5, 5 is still pretty great because the 3, 5, and 6 make it better. Like, there's nothing wrong with having these shapes together. If you have to prioritize one or the other, you can get rid of the 1/2 and keep the 4/5/5 because it's more accepted. But like
Mm.
that 3 again, never forget, even if it's a narrow path, that 3 is a golden draw that puts you in a great position.
Mm.
You're just Tenpai. Yeah, if you get the 3, you become Tenpai because you can get rid of the 1 on the 4. But it's not bad. Dealer throws a Haku. The Haku gets called by our player South. Now, this is where player South decides if they're going for a flush or not.
Well,
Actually, no, in either case, throwing the 7... Well, no, if you throw the 6... No, I think throwing the 7 is probably the right option in either case.
yeah.
They throw the 3-pin.
Okay.
All right, I'm a little... My eyebrows are raised at where we're going here. But it happened.
Okay.
It's a 3-pin. The 3-pin is not called. 9-pin is discarded as drawn, because it definitely doesn't help them. A north is here. 2 north. Does north hold the north? No, north just throws the north.
Mm.
Our dealer gets another 5-man.
9 bamboo. 9, no, sorry, 9 man. Just throw the 9 man.
Yep, 9-man. We're going to swap the 9-man for the 5-man. Because this does give us some option on Tanyao, maybe.
And not just Tanya, it just gives you, there's just more acceptance. You can just absorb more tiles.
Flon says, we saw this a few times with that player. They're trying to be able to call the east, but not give up the Ryanman. But with 1 east out, it's just shooting.
So Ryanman means a 2-sided weight for those people who don't speak.
Oh, I didn't realize you guys did this game live. Now I feel embarrassed. I'm redoing a game that was done live. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I need to.
How did you choose this game, Dave? Did you
I just picked it. I picked it because it was close and because it was a high level game. I was like, I wanted to pick a close game with high level players, but I should be careful and choose more less publicized games.
You don't see as much live.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's
true.
They do a very good job, for the record. I'm not.
I have watched some of their commentary. It's very, very good. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not trying to steal the glory of the live commentators. They do a very good job going through the games and keeping the hype up.
It's tough. Quite a live commentary. Yeah. I don't like it because then you realize about 20 minutes later there was a really obvious thing. Even doing it now when we're slow, we're rewinding. Like every then I'll wake up about 1 o'clock in this morning going, oh, but what about that option? I didn't. Now everyone's just gonna think I'm an idiot. So they know I'm an idiot, not just think it.
South player gets to be a bit sad though because they draw a 4-pin. They would have loved that 3-4-5, I'm sure, but now they don't have it. And so what do? They throw the 4-pin. Yeah, it's done. They don't turn back. It's done. They throw it. West gets a 6-pin, and I wonder what they're thinking. Like, what are they doing with this hand? Oh no, I'm gonna be the second set. Oh dear.
Are you? So what are you
saying?
Like early stream tomorrow,
right? Am I right?
8 p.m. Is that? So what time is that? My time? Midday.
No, that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, like
1
no,
wait,
a.m. for you.
All right. So what time? I'm 8 p.m. Your time is. Wait a minute.
It's 1 a.m. It's 1 a.m.
1 a.m. Yeah, sorry, you're right. No, I can't. He says 4 p.m. Eastern. Korak says 4 p.m. Do you know when you're playing, Dave?
Our player across. What?
Korak says you're 4 p.m.
Wait, 4 p.m. No, the scheduled match says 8 p.m. Eastern.
Oh, Dave's at 8.
Yeah. The first set is 4. Yeah.
Damn, I was gonna. If it was
I just looked at the schedules. I've never missed a game. I'm a prompt man. So the 6-pin comes in, and what are we gonna do here with this 6-pin? I don't know. The 2-4-6 shape is obviously better than the 2-4 shape, but like, where are we going? Like, what are we doing? Is this time to get rid of the Haku and push? I don't feel like it.
I mean, it's not terrible what you've got here. You've got a Tanya and a potential Dora. Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, at this point, you've got to look at the board and decide what are other people doing, and have I got something worth pushing?
I'm like, so two players have called already. I'm not there. I don't feel like I'm getting a good vibe out of this. I don't know. I'd be concerned.
So then throw the 4-pin.
The 4-pin might be the right answer. Let's see what happens. The Haku. Okay. I mean, it is safe, although it's a safe I might have wanted for later. And I can think about what to do.
What's the point difference? So they're second. Ooh,
yeah, they're in second. Yeah. That's the thing. Everyone's so close.
I'm not sure.
It's like, can I afford to just sit this out?
Yeah, I'm not sure. No, I think you have to sit it out. I'm not sure I'd risk it.
North player gets another North and feels sad. Everyone's got a reason to feel sad this hand. Although North player would only... North player could actually be in a great position with a flush and everything if they push the flush harder. But this... You need to read the future to know that. Ooh, okay, 6-man. Now we're getting into Pinfoosville. All right.
Yeah, nice times, nice
Nice
times.
time. So the other 9-man comes out.
The
And
only
not only is
problem
it
is you are
Pinfoosville.
potentially pretty tense.
Well, that's the thing. Because they're going to have to not take the three-sided weight. They're
Hmm.
going to have to, well, they have a three-sided weight for Tempai, which is great. But if they get Tempai on the So side, they're probably going to have to throw the 2-man to
Yeah.
keep it on the 4-7 only, which is a little disappointing, but hey, man, reach
Or,
Pinfu, potentially
or,
Tang.
or you could just do the 30-10 reach. Come on, 30-10 reach. Reach, sumo, Dora, Pinfu. Yeah.
You could. All right, let's see. Let's see what happens.
Exactly, Chia. Chia's on my side. I knew you'd be.
All right,
Yeah.
player South gets the 8-man and takes the Tempai. So now they're Tempai on 6-pin only for Haku. And here's what I want to ask you. This is a question that I often want to ask people. This is okay. I don't know who these people are. My question for them is, what are you doing?
Who
What
are
are
you
you
talking
doing
to
for
now? Sorry.
South? South. What are you
Okay.
doing?
What do you mean? What are they doing? They're
So
waiting on a six.
no. What I'm saying is, you have 25,000 points. You're
Mm-hmm.
5,000 points behind everyone else. You called to push this hand forward, but you didn't push it forward into the flush.
Tofu no mi.
Like Haku half flush, 3 Han, 3 and 30, 3,900 gets you to 29-3. And that
It's good,
29-3 is going to come from someone.
but you've still got
Um,
it. I know you're changing the flow. Changing the flow
what do you mean changing the flow? What's changing the flow?
by getting. If you can win this hand, even if it's just a tofu no mi.
No, my problem with this is that you could, it would have been very simple to change this hand to be angled towards the thing that would have gotten you somewhere. And
That's true.
instead, you're going to run the game forward. You're going to get 1,000 points. You're not going to change your placement. You'll get your
Well,
deal.
you get 1,500
Oh,
still.
1,500. Sorry,
Yeah.
is it 40 though right now? 2, 6? No, I think it ends up being 1 and 30. 8
Oh,
with
you're
the
right.
closed weight. It's only 1 and 30.
Sorry, you're right. Oh no.
So,
Oh yeah, no, because we're not East Round, are we?
yeah, so you're gonna get a
Sorry, sorry,
thousand
sorry,
points,
sorry. I
and
was still in East Round. You left me somewhere behind on the East Round.
I'm sorry. So in my mind, and this is something that sometimes frustrates me when I see people do this. Like if you're gonna take the swing, and all things were pretty equal. It's not like there was something like, because sometimes you get that hand gets like pushed aggressively into valuelessness by the tiles you draw, but like you
Hmm.
could have easily gone a different way. So it's like I feel like this is a trap people get stuck in because they get so fixated on the idea that they gotta win something that they're not thinking about what am I actually doing to the game. And I think this is going to disappoint you in the long run because you'll push the game forward without getting where you need to go.
So there, people are talking about the fairy ten.
And the freight hand,
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, so I am joking. And this one I probably wouldn't fairy ten reach because yeah, there's some good conversation and discussion there. When I would fairy ten reach is when I needed to have that sumo hand in my hand.
hmm,
When if I was an all ass and a footy 10 would allow me to force myself into only being able to win on the sumo,
yeah.
I'd do that. If that would be my winning condition.
I
So
mean, you can always just let winning tiles go by in sumo if you really want to. But like, if Footy 10
but yeah, no, but
increases
yeah,
your
no,
sumo chance and you know you need the
exactly,
sumo,
exactly, exactly,
then it might be
exactly.
worth it. Yeah,
That's when I'd
yeah.
be thinking about it. So so I do love a footy 10 reach. I
Is it rude?
think
Is it
an
rude?
EMA ref was just like, how do you keep getting yourself into footy 10? I'm like, it is a skill.
Look, I can't. I just get too many of the tiles I
And
need. I can't help it.
Flance's open reach is just footy 10 reach for extra hand changed my mind.
A little bit. So the 7-man comes out. Another 6-pin comes into this player across, and I wonder what they do here. They might throw it because it doesn't look like they care about something like Chitoy, or they might be happy to pair up.
I mean, this is why I would have said I'd hope they were in the fold position, you know,
Yeah, this hand is a bit of a mess. They
because
throw the 8.
if they throw into our player in South, then of course that does change things quite significantly. Because it's not just him; he's not just going to get 1,000 points; he's also going to take someone down by 1,000 points.
Yeah, yeah. But that's still only going to bring us to 26. Like, taking someone down is bad. Like, none of these players want to deal into a called
I
hand.
know, but
North has no pins in their pond. 8 is safe on North. North is called, so they're eyeing North. That makes some sense. It would make some sense to say, like, this hand isn't worth winning with the 8. Like, if I get the Dora, I'm just going to shift it around anyway, so I might as well not worry about the situation in which I don't
or
have it.
they don't want to end up on a 6-9 weight.
Yeah, I could see that, not wanting to end up there. Either way, they feel like maybe I'm looking for a potential Sanshoku Doko with the 6. Not impossible. Either way, they dodge. And now all of the winning tiles for South are eaten up in people's hands at the moment. 4-man comes and immediately goes. 1 pin shows up, which is a little... No, they just throw it.
Oh, they're dealer. They have their... Yeah.
2-so comes and immediately goes. Here's the 9-so, which would have gotten him into an ugly non-Tanyo position. So the 9-so comes and goes. 3-man comes and goes. Everyone's just got what they want already. 9-so appears, and here the dealer flattens out to the 3-sided shape. Why?
So I guess they're thinking that they're going to get that 3-side shape, and then they're hoping that they're going to get the 4 or the 7, right, in the bamboo shape. So here to get to Tenpai, it's 1, 4, 7-man, 6-pin, 4.
Oh, because that allows them one more tile with Tenpai. Yeah.
4, 7, 9 bamboo.
Okay, so they're throwing this because this ups their overall path to Tenpai.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're maximizing the number of tiles that can get them Tenpai. All right, smart play. I see it.
But the 9 bamboo is safe, so I probably would have thrown it.
Yeah, like I might have just thrown it out, but like, oh, you're right. You lose 5 mana as an option for Tenpai.
You do.
But you do gain 6 pin. I think you net gain tiles out of this shift. Let me see.
I need a pen and paper. Yeah.
So right here, you can be Tenpai on 1, 4, 5, 7 man.
1, 4, 5, 7 man, 6-pin.
6-pin. Yeah,
4
6
bamboo,
pin's
7 bamboo.
4, 7 bamboo.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
You're switching the 5 for the 9,
right.
basically, is what
Plan
you're doing.
Plan is right.
Yeah, that's correct.
Thank you, Plan. Can you
Another 9 comes and goes. Now you're even sadder about the switch. 3 North's gone for North. This is another case where it's like if you'd committed to the flush, you'd be a very happy player right now. Which is interesting because I usually advise people against going hard on flushes and things like that. But I also feel like if you're going to go, you're going to go. At the point at which you're calling tiles and making the push, like, commit to the push. Don't do a wobbly push. 3 Norths that slip through your grasp there. 3-so, and now Dealer is going to... Oh, Dealer is actually thrilled with this 3-so draw. Because this offers a path to Tanyo. A path to Tanyo. Which is pretty potentially cool.
She says, whenever I'm talking to Plan, I assume everything, when you say different things, Plan is right.
7 pin comes and goes.
Plan, do you have an email so I can ask you my life questions? Because I need some right answers.
Shun comes and goes. Everyone's just in that sad point of dealing whatever they draw. 8-man, interesting. 8-man comes and the 7-so is thrown. I'm imagining there's also some kind of Pinfu Dream coming up here. Is there a man tile worry going on? I don't know. Maybe because this player here, South player, has thrown through like 1 man tile. Maybe there's some man tile worry happening. Don't know. The 7 comes through though. Hot is not particularly going to come out already. 5. So now what would I do with this?
Oh my god, everything's become sad. You have to throw the 9 bamboo and you have to go for a cord Tanyo.
We throw the 3 bamboo.
No.
Well, actually, this isn't the worst plan. I see what's going on here. We got another Dora, but you should probably throw the 9 now. Plan,
you agree with me, right? You throw the 9.
Yeah, you're right.
There's
no reason throwing away your 4 acceptance.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, you can now accept a 3rd Dora if you want. You can call a Dora if you want. You could do either of those things if you threw the 9 instead.
Yeah, and you've got to get yourself into a cord Tanyo here. I think
it's called Tanyo. It's called Tanyo Dora 2 now, so it's worth it. Should have thrown the 9. Done goof. Okay, so now we've switched. This player now switches to wait on the east or the 5 pin, um, which is an interesting play. But they want, again, like I think they want the east because they feel like the east is going to slip out. So maybe it happens. Player west looks like they're pushing towards callable Tanyao Toy Toy something. They get the 3, they get rid of the 2. This gets rid of another way their hand could slip into non-Tanyao, like against their will.
It just happens to Armor
Yeah.
players. Like they're just minding their own business,
Whoops!
and
Not Tanyao
then
anymore.
Tanya like tackles them into a back alley
It's
or
like a
something.
banana peel. You're just like, oh no! Here's the one. So oh, it's all ruined now. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Flan. You can drop 8 out of that structure. 3-so comes and goes. 3-so's Pong. So I was right. They were kind of gearing up for a tall Tonyao Pong situation. I bet they're gonna drop the 2-pin here, or maybe I don't know.
Is that or the 8-man?
The 8-man. Like... Okay, the 8-man. That's another tile that could leave them slip sliding into non-Tanyao. So they're gonna stay away from that. 2-man comes and goes from this player. I don't know. Like, North, I'm not sure what you're waiting for. Like, nothing good is happening to you, and you're in a position where very little good can happen to you, unfortunately. Like, your arrangements are not beneficial to you, and that makes me sad.
But West he can easily fold out with the red dragon.
True,
so...
the Chuns give you really hard folding power.
Or he could have called thrown that 8-man when the 8-man came out from Toy Toy Friend. Mm-hmm.
Another 8-man out. 7. So everyone's just throwing. Here we go, dealer. Now here's the question: what do we do? Do we? I mean, we deal the 9-so almost definitely. Well, okay.
Yes.
Let me list all of our possible options before just throwing them out. Before being biased, we can throw the 9-so, or we can throw the 5-so. Now you're going to tell me that's a bad idea, and I'm almost definitely going to agree with you. The 5-so, first of all, just based on the numbers, throwing the 5-so lets you wait on the 4-7, which ideally is 8 tiles, except you have a 7 in your hand, which makes it 7 tiles, except there's 2 more 7s out there, which makes it 5 tiles, except there's 2 4s out there, which makes it 3 tiles. So the realities of that wait get real bad. Oh no, there's 3 4. There's another 4 you can see as a door indicator, so that makes it 2 tiles. Is there another 7 somewhere that I can't see?
And at 1, 2, 3, I can only see 3 7s.
Yeah, I can see 3 7s and 3 4s. So it's 2 tiles in the world. You get the Han for Pinfu, which makes up for the door you throw. But like, yeah, it becomes Reach, Pinfu, Dora with 2 possible tiles. I'm going through this just to be explicit about why this is not a good idea.
So I'd have thrown, so then if you throw the 9 bamboo, you can actually upgrade the 6-pin or the 5 bamboo to a 2-sided weight. Now you can't really for the 5 bamboos because you threw the 3 bamboo.
Well, that's the other thing. That's the other thing that's really interesting. If you throw the 9-so, you're ready on the 6-pin or the 5-so. You can see 0 6-pins, and you can see 0 5-sos. So there are 4 tiles you could conceivably have out there. It's much better than 2. And as Gemma's mentioning, you don't actually have to reach this. Now, if you win it, you're going to win Tanyao, Dora 2, or 3. So you're going to be winning like a 3 and 40 or Mangan.
And don't forget Sumo.
And if you sumo, it's Mangan guaranteed.
Yeah.
Either way. But if you reach it, it's Mangan guaranteed either way. But if you don't reach it, as Gemma mentioned, you then have these 2 6s you could upgrade into a better shape. If you draw a 5-pin or a 7-pin, you can then get into Reach, Pinfu, Tanyao, Dora Dora before even Sumo for Hanemon or Flip for Hanemon. So, again, a lot of people, I think, and the reason I'm being so pedantic about all of this is because I think a lot of people shy away from these like Champon weights. They really, really, really want the 2-sided weight, but it's not always actually better. And a lot of people very quickly pound the reach button. But sometimes, especially in a situation like this, where
is that because they're on on portals that really encourage you to pound the reach button because it
Honestly,
comes up
I'm not even
and it's
gonna.
flashing at you.
I'm not even gonna go with that. I just think it's appealing to make the bold move.
Oh, I
It's
don't know. When
appealing
I'm
to,
playing,
to tell the table like I'm doing it. I'm locking it in. I'm getting extra points. I might get a flip. Like all those things in your brain say like do it, do it, do it, do it. But
I don't know. When I play Mahjong Fight Club and all the lights are going and it's like do it, and I'm like,
do it,
ooh, okay.
do it. But sometimes Dama-ing is a good deal if you know you can upgrade. Like at the point at which you're like, there is no upgrading this hand, reach becomes far more appealing. But you could upgrade this, and you retain for the whole duration of that upgrade possibility. You retain the ability to shut the hand down by winning. Nothing has to slip by you. So let's see what this player chooses.
I do. I will say that it's, but yeah, the three bamboo is sad, but I'm not sure you could get ahead of. You've gotten out of it at this point, so
Player reaches, but they
okay.
reach on the 9, so they're basically locking in reach, Tanyao, Dora Dora, possibly Dora 3, possibly Sumo. And if they sumo on the 5 it's a Haneman sumo. Otherwise, it is Mangan. Dealer Mangan, though, which is a great thing to do when the scores are this close.
Yeah.
So now, player South gets an 8-pin. What do I do if I'm player South? I probably throw my 9-pin. Because that's hard safe on my dealer. It's hard safe on my other player. It does wreck my Tempai. Yeah, Fawn says, yeah, the weight has 4 tiles. All of them are unlikely to come out if we reach. Pins are expensive. Like, yeah, I think it's true that Dama-ing makes it more likely that someone decides, oh, maybe I can get away with it, and like throws one of these tiles. A dealer reach should have all these players a little scared.
Well, let's see. Let's see what you throw.
Nope, they charge right ahead with it. They're keeping their Tempai. Again, this is one of those things that has two answers, right? It's like on the one hand, I get it because you're in last place. You can't afford to bail. But then on the other hand, it goes back to my previous question of what are you doing? In that if you can't afford to bail and you need to get points, you should have been catapulting yourself towards the most points you can get out of this hand.
Chirel says that the 8 pins, because you can see 3 7 pins, you can see 3 9 pins.
One chance
so the
on
8
both sides.
is, it's not safe, but it's, if you want to keep the Tempai.
It's not. This isn't an insane throw. This isn't an insane throw. But it's like if you're pushing, like you could have been so much further ahead if you'd been pushing even more. If you committed to pushing. I
personally would not push against the dealer reach.
I don't think it's worth it now because if you lose this, you're out forever. You're not so far behind right now.
You're pushing 1,000 points against a dealer reach.
Yeah.
No matter what, that dealer's got something better than you.
Yeah. This is not necessarily worth it at all. Player across, 9-man, hard safe, easy play. Now does North call it?
T.
North decides they're gonna play, calls it, and I would hope throws the one pin. Oh, 2,000. You're right. The reach stick. You get 2,000 out of this now.
Oh, sorry.
The value of your hand has been doubled by this play. They do throw the 1 pin. It's hard safe. It leaves them Tempai on the 3 pin. Dealer gets 2 pin. It comes and goes. 9-man can easily be thrown. 1 gets thrown. I don't know. 3 came out. I don't know. This doesn't seem too insane to me for some reason.
Well, you've got the you can see 4 3s out.
Yeah, 3s are called.
Yeah.
And, all 4 3s. Yeah. So there's.
You can see 4 3s and you can see 2 2s.
All right, not insane. North gets the 4th North. North has been sent a message by Mahjong here, getting the 4th North.
Nice, Matt Tanya.
Dealer gets the 7, could have sumoed it with the pinfu. But again, this is like you can always look through the wall.
Well, no, stop. If he hadn't reached, he could have thrown the 8 bamboo and had Ipeco.
That's true. It could have been Tanya.
Because he doesn't know that there's 3 6s concealed in the player.
He doesn't know. Yeah, from this perspective, the 6 is very live. So yeah, you're right. You could have upgraded to Ipeco.
One of the rare moments where you will hear Gemma go like Ipeco. This is the time. Usually I hate it, but this would have been the time.
Well, the other interesting thing about that is the old Suji trap. Given that he's thrown the 3 and the 9 organically very far before, the 6 looks as safe on him as it's gonna look short of him actually.
I know,
So that would have been interesting.
And just imagine, you'd had Tanya, Iveco, 2 Dora,
Dora,
2 Dora, and you don't even have to reach.
No,
you got Mangan.
Get Mangan right there. Sneak it out. 2 pin comes through. 6-man. That is a risky disky. Why 6-man? let's think. In terms of arranging their own hand, it makes like a little bit of sense that they wanted to keep. What did they draw? They drew the 2. Yeah, why would they want to keep? Huh?
I mean, 6 is safe to the south player.
6 is safe on
6
south.
is probably safe on the north player as well. I mean, he leads with a 3-man discard.
Yeah.
Um,
On our dealer though, 6 is very not safe.
yeah, I don't have a reason for that.
That's a rough throw because that 5-man could have come out of a
Especially that
4-5-5 or something
5-man.
like that.
Yeah.
Like that's a risky disky. But gets away with it. Sumo on the 3-pin.
Oh,
So
I'm
the whole
sorry,
situation
dealer.
gets diffused. Yeah, this was dealer's time to friggin' shine. Let's do my rabbit hole chasing thing. Dealer would have drawn a 4-pin and then a 1-man. I don't think they would have gotten the tiles they want. Yeah, the tiles they wanted weren't coming. The east.
Oh, our 2 door and the dead wall.
Oh, they would have thrown and discarded the east. As it would have been a last tile roan for last place player. Again, this is all rabbit chasing. Don't do this. But yeah, their 2 door winners were in the dead wall, which is so crap. And their 2 6-pin winners were probably locked in the hand of the player. Again, you don't.
So Alberto Zuko thinks that the 6-man was a desperate outside. I know, but let's look at what you can see. You can see 3 4s. You can see 2 3s. The player in south has thrown a 6. So that doesn't help. But I've thrown a 5-man. I don't look like I've done anything particularly. So dealer's thrown a 5-man. Doesn't. I think the 2-man would have been safer.
I feel like the 2-pin would have been the right call here. Maybe not so great, but like
it's not great for the north player, but it's completely safe on the dealer. If you didn't want to throw the 2-pin, the 2-man, yeah. I mean, it could just. And again, we're not playing there with the bloody 10-hole timer, and you've already quickly grabbed a drink or something, or you spilt your Coke on the floor, and you're desperately cleaning up, and it's beeping at you.
Yeah.
So
that's actually one of the things I did wanna. Yeah, the 2-pin is hard safe forever because the 2-pin just came out.
Oh,
so the
sorry,
2-pin, the 2-pin becomes the best tile you can ever throw, which is awesome.
Thank you.
And in my mind, what I was thinking there is like, if I'm keeping the 2-pin, I'm really preserving this 2-4 shape. But if I keep the 2-man, I have the 2-4-man shape, which is equivalent except for a bunch of the 3-mans have come out, so maybe it's not equivalent really. But like, it's not that much worse. And again, am I at this point really seriously hoping I'm going to make this hand happen in the 3rd row with a dealer reach? Like, I'm instead in my mind, I'm terrified because half my hand are these 6s that I can never throw because they're way too dangerous.
So we got 10 minutes left. We don't have time to do the last hand. Let's just go to the last hand and go to the outcome.
Last hand of the game. Let's talk about what happened. So last hand.
Should we do it really quickly though?
Yeah, we'll do this super quick for last hand. So let me get rid of the wall so we don't know all the facts before thing. South 4th.
So, it's still close.
It's still close. I told you this was a really close game.
Still everyone's game here, yeah.
Yeah, so what do we have here? We have our dealer here to the left. He has 7, 8, 9 already. He's got 1, 3. He's got a pair of 1s. He's got a pair of 3s. He's got a pair of wests. He's got a hand that, at first really quick glance, I say maybe you call flush this, but like that seems really aggressive and probably not worth it. Not sure where they're supposed to be going. The player we're following still in the lead barely. Got 1, 2, 3, 5, 5, 6, 8, 7, 9, 1. 6, 7. This is meh. This is meh. Our West player's got a bunch of shrapnel, which is not so great. 2, 4, 6, 8. Pair of 9s. 1, 3, 6, 9. Like, this is rough for them. And North is golden. North's got the Hakus and the Norths. They can just call this and friggin' go. So I expect North to just go. So let's go. I'm gonna move quickly because we don't have a ton of time.
Go to the 6 discard, and then we can look at it again.
6 discard. Well, this isn't quite. This is a little.
As in 6 discard, and yeah, that's fine. Let's do this.
Okay. So North has called their North. It's obvious they're going. They've pushed very hard towards a flush. It's pretty obvious what they're doing here. But
I
maybe
like the
that's
way
fine.
our friend here is going for the full flush. He was robbed of in the very first hand.
Oh wow, yeah, our friend here is just
That
like
that is a yeah.
man tiles for
That is a
life.
comfortable like cyclic narrative. You know, it's like Harry Potter
Yeah.
with the first spell,
To be
right?
fair, the interesting thing about that is this is going to restrict the whole rest of the table if you're that blatant
Mm,
about it, and they're not stupid,
mm,
which I don't think
mm.
they are. Like they're all going to now be like, "Ooh, man tiles, dangerous." And with even one Dora, it's a Hanemon. So hopefully you're slowing them down in an attempt to like see what you can build out of this hand. Call. So we have yeah, our North players call their Norths. This play, the dealer looks like they're inching towards a flush without like overcommit. I don't know. The 8-6 2. These don't seem like insane no
They did
throws.
throw the 2 free bamboo out, which was a nice edge weight. Not edge weight, but you know, it's a weight
Who
for a
did?
1 and
The
a
dealer?
4.
The
No,
dealer didn't
sorry,
throw.
not dealer. I was talking about North. I only want to talk about North.
Oh, okay. You want to talk about North? Yeah, North got rid of their 2-3. They just got rid of all of it. They're just like forget it. Yeah, it's a very rushy round, very aggressive push. But I think the player in first again, like they kind of have to. They don't have so many points that they can just be like, I don't really care what happens here, and if the dealer wins, it's going to be a disaster for them because not
Yeah,
only
they've
do
got to
they
find a
get
Yaku.
overtaken, yeah, they've got to just push, and I think they think that like if I deal into someone else's one Han hand, it's not as bad.
Mm.
Um, if either of the non-dealers win, they're probably instead in second place. You know, like it's unlikely that there's going to be a big hand here. Is probably what they're thinking,
Mm,
especially because the
mm,
door is 9-man, which is an unwieldy tile. It's tough to make work.
mm.
So let's jump. Let's keep jumping through this a little bit. Um,
T.
North is calling their flush. Our player gets to their flush. I'm seeing. Oh wow! Look, our player's flush is progressing. I'm seeing pretty much what I'm expecting out of this, which is everyone. Oh man! All right, so our boy here, our boy South, gets Tempai on half flush, maybe Dora,
Maybe
which
there
is
are.
what they need to win the game. They're fine. They're good.
Mm.
They have two Souths, which is kind of neat because the South has already come out. I doubt they'd want to call the South. I mean, it's points. Actually, it is 2 more points, so maybe. But it's also a well of safety because the South has already come out.
Mm.
Um, this player now it looks like West is getting antsy because they see everyone else doing things. So they're calling with this idea that they're gonna somehow like make Haku something.
They're
And
not
I
gonna.
think they're
Oh, they've
thinking,
got 2 door though. They got 2 door.
yeah, I think their dream here is like Haku Dora Dora or Dora 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 because
This
otherwise they
is
don't have anything. But even 3,900 at this point for them gets them up to like 28-6, which is still last place. This is their challenge here is they have to figure out how do they get over that hurdle. And that's
Sorry,
going to be
Recky's reminding me. That's just me every night screaming. I got snapshotted.
rough. Sevens. Oh, player North is not afraid to deal man tiles right now, while the dealer has decided they are not so thrilled with this man flush, and they're going to get rid of their pair of Wests because like they're not just going to throw man tiles into this garbage, which sucks. This is a sucky feeling. It's rough when you're this stressed out. It's taking you away from winning, but I think this is smart. I think you are doing the right thing by being responsible and not like potentially just vomiting tiles into this man flush. And now interestingly enough, I guess West has decided it's also not smart to vomit tiles into a man flush, and maybe they're thinking, I guess maybe I could do my own man flush. Maybe, who knows?
Yeah, it's not the worst.
The
Yeah.
final South comes out, and this is the key question for our South player: do they call it? Now, my opinion
No.
is do not. You have a much better
Mm.
tempai. Don't ruin it. They do not. Thank you, South player. You have won the Dave Award for today, and kept your better tempai. West comes out again. So yeah, this dealer's just decided they're dodging. The third Dora comes to our last place player. Uh-oh. So now they have Haku Dora 3. They've got Mangan. Mangan gets them into second place. So now they've got the value they need to make this happen if they can just get that Haku. And they're going to push towards a flush as their kind of backup plan. Also because it prevents them from throwing man tiles into another flush. So hey, why not, right? Okay. 7 so comes and goes. 2-pin is interesting. So 2-pin, dealer this is some good Mawase going on over here, right? Like the dealer
Mm.
throws the 7 so, which is hard safe, keeping the 7-8-9 shape, which is good for them. They have 2-3, 3-4-5, 2-3-4. They're actually like Ishan 10 right now on something they could still push if they wanted to while avoiding danger. This is good play. This is smart what they're doing here.
Mm.
4 pin comes and goes. The 4 pin is called. And the 4-man comes out.
He's confident he's going to get that white dragon. Unfortunately, we know better.
Well, this is death in 2 ways. If without the white dragon, there's no Yaku. You can't win. With the white dragon, they're going to throw the 6 right into our flush here. Because you're going to keep 9-9-9-8 as your waiting shape, for sure. You're not throwing a Dora. So it's like either way, they're not going to... They're in a bad spot. Mats is picked up. The 4-man... Okay, the dealer takes advantage of this magic moment to get rid of the 4-man that just came out. This is kind of proving to me they're having a lot of thoughts about what does it mean for a tile to be dangerous in this life. And again, they're Ishan 10 on a hand that can win them. That can win them the game. 5-so comes through. Another 4-man comes out. 5-so comes out. Oh, and here's another worry. The dealer gets a chun. Crap. Who's waiting for this chun? So they throw the 5-so which just came out. Which
they're accepting second place, aren't they? Yeah.
But even this 5-so, they turn 2-3-3-4-5 into 2-3-3-4, which can still be flattened out into a good shape. They're being I want to give them a lot of credit for this. They're being very careful walking this around. They're still keeping their hand close enough to alive that they can make something out of it, while playing very safe. Sumo. It ends with a sumo for the flush. And because of this, it's a 2,000 point hand. Our first place player stays in first. Our dealer stays in second. We have 2 above 30, 2 below 30. And that ends the game as follows: 26-6, -20. So a very, very close game for everyone. This was a game with a lot of action going on. Yeah, Flan, that Paifu is actually something that we are looking at doing a bit more of in a bunch of exciting ways. So we'll see. We'll have more to talk about that for sure, because I think this is something people have told. I think both Gemma and I, this is something they appreciate, and it's something they are excited to see a bit more of. So I think it's a good thing for us to work on providing more of. So yeah, my notable thought about that last game, about that last hand especially, was that I thought the dealer did a very, very good job of trying to keep their hand alive, not necessarily giving up, and finding the safest avenues they could to stay going where they needed to go. Those are the things, frankly, I think I was telling someone this the other day, those are the things that make pros friggin' scary to me, playing against pros, because they're very good at that. They're very good at that. Like they'll even, you look at them and be like, oh, I bet they're folding. They're playing all these safe tiles. I bet they're out of it. And then they're just like, no, wrong. I'm like, why are you so good at this?
I know. Dave, you got out of telling us about the story of Hanukkah as well.
I'm not telling the story of Hanukkah today. Not today. Maybe next week, but not today.
Oh, is it not now?
Oh, Kyra wants to start a Euro League. He said, distracting her. Oh, you want to tell the story? I can quickly tell the story of Hanukkah. Am I telling the story of Hanukkah?
It's interesting, Kyle. Yeah, we should. Sorry, I'm just thinking about EuroLeague. Yeah, organizing is a pain in the ass. Like, it's a lot. I think people have this idea that online games are somehow easier, but they're not. Like, I hate organizing online events. Real life events are much easier because everyone's in a room and I can tell them to go where they need to be. Whereas online, inevitably, someone's overslept and you don't know whether they're going to come to their computer or they've gone shopping or like some other fiasco. I don't like organizing online events. Anyway, Hanukkah. Do you want to tell us Hanukkah or want to tell us next week? What's next week? What is next week?
Next week is the 24th, night before Christmas.
Christmas Eve. The night before Christmas.
That's what they say in the thing. It was the night before Christmas and all through the house.
Oh, look, you do know some Christmas things. I don't know that one.
You can't not know it when you're friggin' simmering in it. I mean, Hanukkah's a story about rebellion. It's a story about political upheaval and intrigue. Um,
My only engagement with the story of Hanukkah is when Ross wanted to tell his kid the story of Hanukkah and Friends.
oh my God. Um, so yeah, Hanukkah like basically is a story of cultural conquest, where the Jews had been conquered by Syria, and the Syrians were like, "You're all Syrians now," and they were like, "We don't much like that." Um, Does it have to do with the Romans? It has to do with the Romans. Interesting. I'm
I don't
reading
know.
through this.
Surely you should know the story of
Well, no,
Hanukkah.
I know
Like,
I
were
know
you
the
not
core
told this?
story, but there's a lot of context around it.
Okay.
The context around it is that the Jewish people have been conquered, and they were ruled
Mm.
by the king of Syria. And apparently, the king of Syria was defeated by the Romans. Like at the beginning, the Syrians
Yeah.
were kind of nice. They were kind of just like in that like ancient world way of like, well, I guess you're kind of citizens now, so like pay us taxes, and we kind of don't care what you do that much.
Mm.
So it wasn't like a heavy-handed rule of cruelty. But when the Romans conquered the Syrians, they were like, give us more money and we want to, we need to pay higher taxes. So now you need to give us more resources and we don't really like that. Um, and so basically, the king of Syria was like, I want to unify my kingdom. So we all need to have the same culture. And so you can't be Jewish anymore. It's time to be Syrian and worship our Syrian gods because that's what we do. And the Jews were like, we don't like this at all. And eventually there was a rebellion against the Syrians because they're like, we want to keep our culture, and not be Syrian and not worship your gods. So at some point this became like an army of like 40,000 people. They were called the Maccabees, were this revolutionary army attempting to like fight off the Syrians. And at some point they were cornered in some what's it called? They were in Jerusalem actually, and there was no olive oil there to keep the
For
temple light
the
lit.
yeah, the lantern,
And
right?
this is the thing: they were besieged. There was no olive oil. They didn't have any. And by a miracle, the small supply of olive oil that was really only 1 day's worth, lasted for 8 days until new oil was able to be found to continue keeping the temple light lit, which needed to be lit forever and ever and ever and ever. And that's the miracle of Hanukkah. That is not really that important, but only gets celebrated because of how loud everyone is about Christmas. And so Jews in America specifically were like, we need a wintertime holiday that we think is important. Otherwise, everyone in our culture is going to be like, we feel left out.
Oh, really? Was it? It's not.
No, it
I
was a
just
very minor like historical remembrance celebration, but because
but
Christmas time is so big,
that
it was
feels
shoved
very
into the limelight.
miraculous, though. Like, does that not feel like a miracle?
Oh yeah, I mean we say it all the time. Nes Gadol Hayasham, a great miracle happened there. We say that,
Yeah.
but like it wasn't
So,
considered important in terms of religious context. Like it was just
mm,
one of the many stuff. Like Passover is a big fucking deal.
okay, yeah.
Hanukkah was like it was a thing. Yeah, remember this thing that happened, but it wasn't considered that big of a deal. It only got elevated because Christmas holiday season, big deal. How do we make one?
Oh my God. First of all, I'm so glad that sorry, Becky, also if you do another Final Fantasy 14 tournament, I am rating because I love those
Yes, heck
tournaments.
yeah, in for it.
Secondly, you've managed to allow me to bring it back to our initial topic of
Hold on,
Harry and Meghan.
Doctor Vallon says the miracle was also the Maccabees held back much larger and stronger. That's true. They were defending themselves against a huge and powerful Syrian army successfully.
So like Jewish Alamo, but
A
winning,
little bit. They did, I
not
believe,
failing.
all die for sure.
Oh, they
sure.
did. Oh, the Maccabees
For
did.
sure.
So a little bit like Jewish Alamo. Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Jewish Alamo. That's
Texas
probably
is just a
pretty
bunch of
offensive
friggin'
to American
copycats.
culture and Jewish culture.
I'm
Our
tired of these
apologies.
Texans stealing our Alamo. I'm tired of people stealing our menorah.
Right, okay, I'm going to tell you about Texas Alamo because it pisses me off. Because when I went to the Alamo and they were telling me it was the Shrine of America, and I went into the Shrine of America, and what was I there to see? A British flag. Because, of course, America didn't exist at that point, right? So then they had all the flags of all the people who had defended the Alamo. So, what did the United States not exist? Anyway, Texas definitely wasn't in the United States at that point. Or like a citizenship. Anyway, so they had all the flags of all these citizens, of the people who'd fought in the Alamo, and I was like, don't bring my flag into your shrine. But you managed to let me bring it back to Harry and Meghan. So Harry and Meghan's the latest thing that they did today was they released a a Christmas card. However, they didn't put the word Christmas on it. They said like something like "Have a good holiday season" or "Have a joyful holiday season" or something like that. Something pretty American, you know. I know, you know, Americans like to say "Happy Holidays" and stuff like that. Anyway, so the British media are up in arms that Harry and Meghan did not use the word Christmas. This is
Hmm.
like blasphemy for us.
I'm trying
Like,
to see if the Maccabees actually won. They definitely managed to like successfully disrupt the governmental structure, and like a new order came out of their rebellion, but I don't think they won. They like ended up being like a it ended up being almost like some of
what
the large rebel organizations. They like lived in the countrysides and had like a rival government to the real government.
I
Um,
really feel like it's a lot like the Alamo then, because then surely after the tragedy of the Alamo, um, people decided that they had to stop the Mexicans from taking back their land.
yeah, yeah, and apparently they managed to have. I'm sorry, I'm reading all this detail. Apparently, what kind of ended up happening is the Romans kind of like were like, all right, I guess it's fine, you guys. Like the Romans were just kind of pissed off that everyone was fighting in general, and they were like, look, whoever wants to like
Like
keep the
there's a
peace
lot
and
of
pay us
blood.
taxes,
Yeah,
we kind of
there's a
don't
lot of
care.
blood on a nice new road. So just
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and apparently the Jews were just like, look, we'll just elect our own priest, but we'll keep paying you taxes. And the Romans like, you know what? Like, fine, we don't really care. Like, you can do your religion thing, we really don't care. Just like keep the peace and pay us taxes, and if you can do that, we support you.
Practical people, the Romans.
That was their benefit. That was one of the great things about the Romans. One of the things that helped the Romans succeed so much was that level of practicality of being like, we don't need to make you, behave in a certain way. We just need you to like keep the law and pay taxes, and we kind of don't
Well,
care.
that's why they didn't like the Christians, right? Because we, not me specifically, but you know,
Until they became the
gen,
Christians,
general, yes,
the
until
Holy
the
Roman
when
Empire.
so some Jewish people became Christian,
Dave and
but then
Gemma's
the
History
Romans
Hour.
became, but they yeah, the Romans really did not were not big fans of the Christians initially, right? But then they managed to twist the narrative back into, you know, render unto Caesar what
Well,
is Caesar's
and
is the great.
any religion that I think the Romans would have been equally not fans of any religion that worked like Christianity with this idea, because
Mm,
like many pagan type religions are just like, there's a god of wheat, and if you give the god of wheat something, you'll get better wheat, and this really doesn't factor into your overall view of yourself in the cosmology of government and law and all that stuff. You just give something to
mm,
the god of wheat. Who gives a crap? But I feel like Christianity is one of a whole set of religions that believe like there is a divine order to the universe. There are God's laws that are different from man's laws. There's something you should
mm.
hold more important than man's laws. Now the Romans are like, wait, more important than laws. Hold on a minute. That's where they get a little fussy. Anyway, we are over time. We've hung out with you too much. But thank you all for joining us. I
Put
actually
our
have
flag
really have things
everywhere.
to do anyway.
Yeah.
But thank you all for joining us as always,
Thank
and
you,
we will see you
guys.
next week. Maybe next week. I know we might skip for Christmas because it's going to be Christmas time. That
Yes,
Mahjong Jen is Jen. You
Marshall
can go
Jen
watch
is Jen.
Jen.
What? I don't. You could go and raid her. I don't know how to raid her, so
How do we
it'll be
raid
on you.
someone? Can we raid
I don't
Jen?
know. I don't
Can
know.
we raid her for going
But
offline? Because I do actually
I
have to
think
get
we
going.
raid and then we dump all our people in her.
Is that? Hold on.
I don't know. I don't know.
Um. Oh, you'll be older. Happy birthday.
Happy
I mean,
birthday.
you'll always be
Older.
gaining age.
Yes,
But
unfortunately,
you can
that's.
send. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna raid Jen. Um, let me find our Twitch dashboard. Here we go. And I'm gonna send to start a raid. I do this once I initiate a raid. It tracks participants. You get the countdown to the raid. You can opt out after 10 seconds. We click raid now. Um, and then you go. So I'm redirecting. So this raid is gonna send you over to watch Jen. It's a single end, Jen, right?
Yes.
Okay. The raid has been created. We got 10 seconds. Everyone can go who wants to go. Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm doing it in the dashboard. And I click raid now. So thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time. Have fun with Jen.
Bye, guys. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think we go to outro.
Oh wow! Look, it's worked. Chat rules. Okay.
Okay, so let's go to logo. And then we can go to
She's cosplay.